sit atop the AFC with an explosive offensive style. Now coming off a bye week, the Bills need to continue their red-hot ways to get a leg up on the rest of the AFC.
Get a leg up. Get a leg over, boy. Yeah, yeah. Get a leg up. What's the matter? Are you shy?
Bills quarterback Jim Kelly knows the importance of today's game against the Patriots, a team within their own division.
This is one where you don't want a game to slip away because that might mean the difference between home field advantage or playing in another city. So we know each and every game is very, very important.
The Bills and Patriots as we kick off week number 10.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the New England Patriots versus the Buffalo Bills.
This afternoon, we're at Rich Stadium where it's been snowing all morning. Fortunately, the snow stopped about an hour ago, but still very cold, damp conditions for a matchup between two teams that have been going at it for a long, long time. And 34 degrees at game time. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Buffalo. Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. The Bills and the Patriots, and what a boost for the Buffalo Bills, Dan. They get one of those two offensive or defensive linemen back, the big one, Jeff Wright.
Well, everyone's excited about the return of Jeff Wright. He's a fine player, and he'll help solidify that defensive front, but you can't help but think that everybody here in Buffalo is still waiting for the return of Bruce Smith.
And with good reason. The Buffalo Bills, one of the best at getting to the quarterback last year with only 11 sacks so far this season after the first 8 games. So they are looking forward to the return of Bruce Smith. A devastating setback last week for the New England Patriots, a 9-6 loss to the Denver Broncos. Now we find out a little bit more about this young offensive unit, what they're made of, can they bounce back?
Well, that's exactly what it was, a devastating loss to Denver last week. And, you know, you talk to Hugh Millen, the quarterback for the New England Patriots. He says, hey, there's no sense in dwelling on that. All we can do is look forward to preparing for the Bills. And I think they've done a great job about getting the teams over that last week and getting them ready for this week's game against the Bills.
Who would have believed a couple of years ago that Irving Fryer this season would be one of the oldest players for the New England Patriots on their offensive unit? Not only one of their oldest, but truly one of their team leaders now.
Well, I think he is, Joel. If you watch the New England Patriots, you know that Irving Fryer is a guy that is more than just a player. He's a guy that expects to go out and catch 6 or 7 passes each and every game in order to give them a chance to win.
Irving told us yesterday he knows he'll see double coverage consistently because of the other young wide receivers, Timpson and McMurtry. But he finds a way now to get those 6 or 7 receptions a game. And many are saying that the last 8 games, it's been the best 8-game stretch in the career of Irving Fryer. Brad Delwiso, the former UCLA Bruin, will kick it away. As you can tell, the wind is really gusting out of the west at least about 20 miles an hour. So it will have to be held for Delwiso by the defensive back Hicks. And waiting back deep for the New England Patriots, it'll be John Vaughn and Marvin Allen. So we're ready to go. The 7-1 Bills kick it away to the 3-5 New England Patriots, and you can tell what the wind has done for Delwiso, as the Patriots will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Hugh Millen making his 9th career start this afternoon in the cold and wet conditions of Rich Stadium. Playing behind a huge offensive line, but a banged-up group. In fact, John Melander gets the first start of the season for him, as he's replacing Greg Ricosi at the right guard spot. Ricosi is out for the year. Leonard Russell, after the first 8, strong argument for Russell as the AFC's Offensive Rookie of the Year. Ivy Joe Hunter also in the backfield. Fryer, McMurtry, the wideouts, and Marv Cook, the sensational tight end out of Iowa, who leads all NFL tight ends in receptions with 45. So it's 1st and 10 for the Patriots at their own 20-yard line, as Russell is the only one in the backfield. And nothing doing with flags on the play. Carlton Bailey there in a hurry, but we do have flags.
Delay a game on the offense prior to the snap. 5 yards, still 1st down.
It looks like Millen, the quarterback, didn't get a good snap. You know, it's awful cold today, Joel, and it looks like it came right up his sleeves, right into the old breadbasket. He's able to get the handoff, but There was a motion penalty.
Actually, delay of game, so a sputtering start for those Patriots. And now they've got it 1st and 15. Back at their own 15-yard line. Hunter splitting out. The counter to Russell. He slowed down on the corner. Talley making the hit, but Odom slowed him down as he spun out of bounds. And no gain on the carry. The front seven for the Buffalo Bills, they have had problems stopping the run all year long. Lotish does get the start at nose tackle. Jeff Wright, number 91, will be spotted today. The strength, their linebacking group. Talley, Bailey, Conlon, and Cornelius Bennett. Big number 97. In the secondary, Odoms, Jackson, Leonard Smith, the big hitter, and Mark Kelso. So it brings up a 2nd and 15 now for the Patriots back at their own 15-yard line.
But I think they're going to try to work on Phil Hansen, the big right end for Buffalo, a rookie.
Millen again with problems. Gets rid of it. It's a punt. And it drops on the interception try as Bennett was hurt on the play. Kirby Jackson almost came up with that wounded one off the hand of Hugh Millen.
Joe, that's just ugly. I don't know what exactly the quarterback Hugh Millen's problem is, but he's not able to get that ball up and do anything with it. Here you'll see, after bobbling it, oh my goodness, it looks like Bennett has just almost wrecked his knee there. It's unbelievable. Watch this replay here, folks. You cannot believe the flexibility of Bennett. If he doesn't get hurt on this, you'll see him go up the pipe. On that replay, we didn't get it. Maybe we'll show you a little bit later, but it's amazing he's walking now.
Remember, on 3rd and 15, he's throwing into a stiff 20-mile-an-hour wind. Sliding and out of bounds, trying to make the reception, Irving Pryor. So on the first possession of the day, it's 3 snaps and out for Hugh Millen and the Patriots offense, and now they've got to punt it away. McCarthy's got to punt it away into that stiff breeze.
Well, I don't see much sense in that, Joe. I mean, you know that Buffalo is soft against the run. They can run the ball pretty effectively. They come out and they try a couple of passes after the miscue on 1st down. They've got to go ahead and try to establish that early.
I was a little surprised they were throwing on 2nd down because that 2nd down pass was almost picked off by Jackson. So now Al Edwards waits back at the midfield stripe if it'll even get that far. McCarthy takes the low snap. And it does take a bounce for the Patriots. Edwards bobbles but maintains control at the New England 43-yard line. Richard Tarditz, the former rugby league player from France, played at the University of Georgia, making the hit. And now the offense for the Bills on the field for the first time today with great field position. The top-rated quarterback in the NFL, Jim Kelly, behind a huge offensive line. A very experienced group anchored in the middle by the superstitious Kent Hull. We'll get to that story in just a little bit.
Halloween story.
Big Howard Ballard, 340-pounder over on the right side. Thomas, leading rusher in the AFC, and Gardner in the backfield. Lofton, Reed, the wideouts, and McKellar is the tight end. 1st and 10 at the 43. Over the middle, it's the tight end, Keith McKellar, inside the 35, close to the marker. Close to the 1st down, put down by David Howard, who is subbing the injured Chris Singleton.
Well, Buffalo has the win, so you know they're going to throw some quick passes and try to get it established in the air early.
New England's been outstanding at stopping the run this year, but near last in the NFL at defending against the pass. 2nd and short, Thurman Thomas has the 1st down and then some. Inside the 30, close to the 26 of New England. Up front, they've been great. 6th best, this defensive front 7 at stopping the run in the NFL. Their linebackers, the strength. And in the secondary, Hurst, Lepet, Colin, and Fred Marion. And Maurice Hurst playing outstanding football now. In fact, James Lofton said a couple of days ago he considers Hurst the best one-on-one cover man in the AFC now. Carwell Gardner out of the backfield. Gets away from the linebacker, Vincent Brown, and gets good yardage down to the 20-yard line. Put out by Harry Colton, the strong safety.
Well, when you see a guy this size, you don't think Carwell Gardner can make a move like this. But watch him make a little stutter step and just basically run away from the outside linebacker. That's a nice play by a big fullback, a guy about 235 pounds.
So the no huddle, very efficient early. Thurman Thomas has the first down all the way to the 10-yard line. On second and a couple, a big quick hitter as Fred Marion had to make the stop in the secondary, a 9-yard carry.
Well, that's not a good sign early on if you're a New England fan for your free safety to be making plays up close to the line of scrimmage, because you know the line and the linebackers aren't getting it done. Here you'll see him busting through the hole there, and Thurman Thomas is maybe the most slashing of all the backs in the AFC now.
Thomas just barely pulled down by Vincent Brown, the linebacker, on first and goal just inside the 10. So now, after taking the ball from the New England 43 very quickly, a couple of minutes later, it's outside of the 7, second and goal.
Well, it looked like New England's been stunned since that opening bobble by Hugh Millen. They haven't been able to do anything right here. They're letting Buffalo just pound away at it.
Kelly has time, has a receiver, and it's poked away by Maurice Hurst. James Lofton, the intended target.
Well, Joe, you're exactly right about Maurice Hurst. There's an awful lot of good things being said about this young man, and I think that's indicative of right there. That type of play, you're covering one of the best receivers you will have to face in any given week, a guy like Lofton, and then all of a sudden you're able to take him on a real quick poster. That's an awfully tough play for a corner to make, and he made it easy.
Third and goal outside of the 7. Counter to Thomas, plenty of blocking in front, and he's barely pulled down by Vincent Brown. Brown's got him inside the 2, close to the 1-yard line. Decision for Marv Levy early. And no decision as far as he's concerned. You can hear the booth in the background. As Scott Norwood, the place-kicking unit, comes onto the field.
Well, he knows that he's got the momentum right now, and if he goes out and tries something on 4th down, it doesn't make it into the end zone, then obviously New England gains the momentum. He knows he's got him down now. He's going to keep his foot on the throat.
With the wind at his back, basically just like an extra point now, as Norwood 7 of 12 so far this year. As the Bills try to take the lead. And Norwood right on target.
Chip shot.
So it's a 19-yard field goal for Scott Norwood as Buffalo takes the lead over New England. Bills on the field goal by Scott Norwood. I love what Marv told us yesterday when we asked him about the addition of the Bills this year as opposed to last year. He said this team prepares really well. Thomas, Lofton, veterans like that set the example. Makes it easy for everybody else. As Marvin Allen brings off the kick, brings back the kickoff. Good moves across the 25, out across the 30, and Marvin Allen with a nifty run back.
Well, that's something they need to have early on here on this drive, something to give them a spark, because that last series, it set the tone for the defense, and all that did was result in 3 points against them.
From their own 33.
Hugh Millen has hit better than 63% of his passes, but they've really had problems all year long inside the red zone. Better than 20 times inside the red zone. The New England Patriots only have 5 touchdowns, 2-4 percentage. And coming up with 6 once they get inside the 20. And now it's 1st and 10. The 33 after the 31-yard return by Marvin Allen. Leonard Russell to the 35 for only a couple of yards. Seems like everything's in slow motion right now for the New England Patriots.
Bennett made the stop.
And while we've got the time, let's check the Budweiser 10-minute ticker.
It'll be 2nd and 7.
An early field goal.
Kazmarski.
Kevin Butler.
Report to Southside
21 yards at Chicago with the lead over Detroit.
Southside Security.
And defensive struggles all over the NFL in week number 10 early. Jeff Wright into the game now for the Buffalo Bills on the nose. So Wright with his first snap. Week number 10. And the delay. Leonard Russell. Belted by Shane Conlon, the inside linebacker.
A loss of 1.
Well, Jeff Wright is a guy that, you know, you don't realize how important these big meat men in the trenches are until they make plays. And here you'll see him coming around on a stunt, not really being a part of the play, but when you've got Wright back, you know, you can do some different things. He's a smart player, a guy that can run stunts, knows how to more or less create seams for those linebackers to fill. He's a real heady player, and he's a big addition back to this Buffalo defense.
New England's hit only 34% of their third down so far this season. They're 0 for 1 today. They're looking at third and just about 8. 3 wide receivers setting up for Hugh Millen out of the shotgun. Flags down on the play, and the ball off the fingertips of Marv Cook. He was looking for the tight end. Let's find out about the penalty. Somebody leave a little bit early. No, a defensive hold, automatic first down. Break for the Patriots.
possibly a linebacker hanging on Marv Cook while he's trying to get open on about
defensive holding, number 46, automatic first down.
Strong safety.
Leonard Smith. Leonard doesn't look too upset about that, but he knows it's early and they've got the lead. So, well, we'll take a look at this. We'll see Leonard Smith on the right of your screen. He's walked up on the tight end. Now you'll see Cook give a little move, and there he's just more or less got a grip on it. I don't know what he thinks officials are watching, but they're not reading the Sunday funnies. That's pretty easy to spot from here, Joel.
Automatic first down to the 5-yard mark-off. 1st and 10 for the Patriots. Their own 40-yard line. Pryor and McMurtry, the 2 wide receivers. Leonard Russell gets the call. He's coming off a career best. Gets nothing on this. Maybe a yard falling forward to the 41. He had 89 yards. Career high against Denver last Sunday. As they had a season best, the New England Patriots, of 141 yards on the ground. So they wanted to establish it early, especially moving into a 20-mile-an-hour wind and gusting upwards of 25 to 30 miles an hour.
Well, Joe, you can talk about establishing a ground game, but you can run plays, but unless you make good yardage and move the chains by running the ball, you're not establishing just calling the play and running it. There, the linebacker, Bailey, just really forced that play into the backfield and nothing ever happened.
2nd and 9. Ivy Joe Hunter out of the backfield against the linebacker, and it's complete. Matching up with Carlton Bailey. Close to the first down. He's short by just about 2. Hunter in his 3rd year from Kentucky.
We'll see him here just more or less as a kind of a hot guy. Millen just trying to give him a little pass on a flare, pick up what he can. Bailey, who made the play on the right hash mark the last play, now he's over here making a tackle on the out-of-bounds line all the way across the field in the next play. Very active linebackers here in Buffalo.
So 3rd and short, 3rd and a little less than 2. Double tight end set. Ben Coates joins Marv Cook. Leonard Russell has the first down. And he fumbles, and it's picked up by Bennett. He lost it before he went down, and Buffalo's got it back. Cornelius Bennett picking up the first turnover of the contest, and that was one of the concerns when we talked to Marv Levy yesterday. They're a -7 in the takeaway giveaway ratio. He wanted to turn that around.
Well, when you've got active linebackers like we talked about here, Bennett coming from the inside, back out, falling out, making the play, he just happens to be there when the ball squirts out.
It was Leon Seals who ripped it away, the big defensive lineman, and Bennett picking up the loose ball. So with a 3-0 lead, Buffalo has it back in the midfield stripe. They started that first drive in New England territory at the 43. Delay to Carwell Gardner. He looked like he hit that moment of indecision when he wanted to go outside, stayed inside. Still got 4 yards on the carry.
Gain of 4, it's 2nd and 6.
And Jim Kelly told us yesterday that it's going to be interesting to see how New England matches up defensively, because they're a down and distance situational substitution team, and they don't have that kind of time against Kelly, and there's no huddle.
Well, normally they have their starting unit, then on 2nd down they'll bring in another group like a nickel, and then on 3rd they'll bring in 2 DBs.
2nd and 6. Wide open, it's Andre Reed inside the 35. Close to the 32. 13 yards on the reception for Andre Reed.
Well, Andre was matched up with a safety on that play, and I don't care who you are, I don't think there's a safety in the league that can go one-on-one with Andre Reed. That's a great pick by Jim Kelly. Throw the ball to the guy.
43rd reception of the year for Reed, and it's Thurman Thomas belted. Still stays on his feet, though. Was he popped in the backfield and still gets about 5 yards.
You've talked about guys that run like, trying to tackle a bowling ball. Watch this. You've got a defensive end, Agnew, hit him right square in the shoulder pads, and he goes down. Thurman Thomas just keeps going. He's motoring.
Top rusher in the AFC, 3rd best in the NFL. 2nd and 6. And it's James Lofton. Look at I found inside the 25. Close to the first down marker.
Jim Kelly had all day back there, and that's something New England knows they have to do. Kelly, they're going to hurt you by running the ball, and a lot of people don't realize how effective Buffalo is running the ball. But all that does is slow the pass rush down. Now here you see Lofton run all the way from the outside numbers all the way back in on a crossing pattern for about 7 yards. That's, that takes a long time for that to develop.
Now,
Great
look at it.
pitch.
All of a sudden, they're huddling. The Buffalo Bills are huddling on 3rd and less than a yard. That is a surprise on their home field because noise is not a factor. Kenneth Davis in the backfield behind Carwell Gardner. 3 tight ends setting up on 3rd and less than a yard. It's Kenneth Davis. Almost broke it into the secondary. Loses it on his way down, but they say he was already down with the first down. Near the 21. Fred Marion had him around the ankles. Patriots wanted it because they came up with the ball.
They're going to come in and it looks like they've got the first down, though.
Well, they've definitely got the first down, but that's somewhat of a shock to see the Buffalo Bills huddle on their home field. Noise definitely a factor away from home, but working in their favor here. Gardner, big burst with a flag down to the play up the middle inside the 15.
Looks like they do the flag on the left side. It'd be either Jim Richter or Will Wolford, the left tackle and guard. May get a number here in a minute, but those guys are doing a terrific job. Opening huge holes and pass protecting super.
Holding. Offense, number 51. 10 yards, still first down.
That'd be Richter, the fine left guard. He's a guy that doesn't get caught much. He's been around a long time, and he's pretty tricky, but looks like right there, more or less pulled down the linebacker. And they caught him.
Well, Jim Richer is a wormy kind of guy, according to Fred Smerlas, who is back and on the other side for the New England Patriots. He said when he got here, he lined up one day in practice across from Richer, and he had a mouthful of worms. And he came out, and he stuck his tongue out at Smerlas and proceeded to eat all those worms. 1st and 20. Kelly again with all day to throw. A wobbler over the head of Lofton. It'll bring up 2nd and 20.
For James Lofton out of bounds.
Brett Williams applying the pressure on Kelly.
Well, the thing about Kelly, he's so smart, Joel, and he sees the entire field. Here he's watching, he's looking right. He's got his best 2 receivers over there. Reed's got a double. Lofton can't get shook open on the sideline. Great coverage. Smart thing. Throw it out of bounds. Live again. Next down.
Boy, don't Patriot fans wish Hugh Miller would have done that last week? Throw it out of bounds.
You kind of think he's watching and learning.
Kelly for Lofton almost made a great leaping grab inside the 20. He was working on David Poole, who was a member of the Buffalo Bills last year. So if anybody knows the audibles, the system, it's number 27, David Poole.
I think you're going to see that matchup an awful lot because Lofton, the guy that he is, I mean, he's a terrific player, still has great speed, and he defies the laws of nature being able to play like that. He's going to want to get on those young guys and work on them.
Kelly now 3 of 6. Still looking at a 3rd and 20 outside of the 30. Delay to Thomas. Doesn't fool the Patriots. They stay at home. And now it's going to be a long field goal try. But remember, the wind is at the back of Scott Norwood at a good 20 miles an hour.
Well, it looks like the offense is still staggering from last week's loss, and it affects them a lot more than the defense because the defense has really done a great job on 2 series when they could have laid down and gave up a couple of easy touchdowns. I'm proud of the defense so far.
Norwood hit a 19-yarder, and there's the wind I'm talking about coming out of the west, right behind Scott Norwood. It'll be a 47-yard attempt out of the hold of the backup quarterback, Frank Reich. Norwood beat 2 for 2 on the afternoon. It's drifting right, and he's now 1 for 2 in the early going. So Scott Norwood misses his 6th field goal attempt of the season. And the New England Patriots get a break as still they are only down by 3. I believe the sun is shining when just about 2.5 hours ago, you couldn't see your hand in Buffalo. Snow showers, as they called them, the lake effect. And it looked like we were going to have about 2 feet of snow. About 3-4 inches fell, and now decent weather. Windy conditions, though. Leonard Russell across the 35 on 1st and 10. Getting 7 out to the 37.
The gain of 7.
The look at the Budweiser 10-minute ticker. Still, that Butler field goal, the difference between Chicago and Detroit. Breach with a field goal early for Cincinnati. Pat Leahy with the same for the New York Jets.
How much scoring? I'll tell you what, Joe, when you get this first snap, where the weather turns cold, the offensive guys take a little bit longer to adjust.
Sounds like a former defensive lineman to me.
I imagine.
Leonard Russell pulling his way, and he's got the first down to the 45. He wouldn't give up on that play.
Conlon and
Well, I
Talley.
think New England's gone back to their bread and butter now. They lined up in an eye on that first down and pounded away. Now they're running a trap play, working down inside. Here you'll see that counter gap Washington made so famous. Here, the same thing, just pounding away inside now. If Jeff Wright is back 100%, he's going to help against that play, but he didn't help much then.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Patriots. They're only down by 3. Their own 45-yard line. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Millen on the hurry up over to Fryer. Fryer was blocking out in front. They got the rookie out of USC, their first-round draft choice, Pat Harlow, out there quickly. And Harlow comes up, and he's hurt. Fortunately, back up.
He's young. He can bounce back quick, Joe. Come on, those guys, they're not going to get hurt. You're a rookie. You can't get hurt.
He was the 11th player taken
2nd and 1.
in the first round as they get 9 on that reception to Irving Fryer. He says, Fryer told us yesterday, I need 6 or 7 catches per game for this team to be successful. And I have that attitude going into the game. He seemed like a very mature and different player from the one we spoke with last year.
Well, I think that's the first thing that jumped out to me, maturity.
Second, less than a yard. Ivy Joe Hunter. He's got the first down. Inside the 45 of Buffalo to the Bills' 44-yard line. Put down for the strong safety, Leonard Smith.
Leonard Smith did a good job there, crashing from the defensive left side, able to go ahead and wrap up the legs, get the back down before the first down. Here you'll see it coming from the top of your screen, number 46. There he is, going ahead and pulling him down. Strong safeties, they like to make those kind of plays. Strong safety, they want to get in there and rough around a little bit, rough house, and he likes making those kind of plays.
1st and 10 delay, Ivy Joe Hunter. He weaves his way for 3, down to the 41. Leonard Smith, a little bit into it with Leonard Russell.
2nd and 7.
A rookie from Arizona State.
Well, in that play, they had Leonard Russell leading on the strong safety, Smith. Usually the guy that gets the worst end of the stick gets up shoving. I'll let you draw your own conclusions.
2nd and 7 at the 41. McMurtry, Fryer, the wide receivers. Breaking out of the backfield, Leonard Russell into the secondary. And a first down for the Patriots inside the 25 to the 22.
This is what they did last week, Joel. They just said, hey, forget all that fancy stuff. We're just going to pound away. Talley did a good job forcing the play in the backfield, but Russell makes a great play. There you see Talley, 56, coming from the outside. But Russell just stays with the blocking plan where the play's designed to go right inside that kickout block. Makes big yardage. Here you'll see Miller getting out. There, Ivy Joe does a great job getting the force linebacker nullified. Then it's one-on-one with the safety.
8 carries for 41 yards so far for Leonard Russell, the rookie from Arizona State. 1st and 10. It's Russell again. He takes a shot crossing the 20. Shane Conlon does that to a number of running backs around the league. And Russell hits the deck at the 18.
Game 3.
Conlon made a play a couple of minutes ago where he run down Irving Fryer, one of the fastest guys in the league, from behind. And there he makes the play at point of attack. Now, usually you see those interior linebackers, they're kind of 230, 240 guys, kind of big and burly, making plays right at him. But he showed me something a few plays ago. I knew he could make that last play where it's right at him, man on man. But when he ran down Irving from behind, that's impressive too.
And the first quarter comes to a conclusion with a very impressive drive of the progress right now. Progress for the New England Patriots. 34 degrees. And looking at the first 15 minutes statistics, 50 yards on the ground for the New England Patriots, 45 belonging to Leonard Russell.
Well, I think that's the game plan. They want to run the ball, and they know that Buffalo's defense is 27th in the league against the rush. If you can't rush the ball against Buffalo, go home.
2nd and 7, just inside the 19. Leonard Russell torpedo by Darryl Talley in the backfield. The outside linebacker got in a hurry.
Now that's a big-time play from a big-time player. Talley is the guy that I think has really held this defense together since the departure of Bruce Smith due to injury. Here you'll see him pinch down against that counter gap that's been working so well. That's how you stop it. You force it in the backfield. You never let him get started, and you make those running backs make decisions back there. 56 right there coming from the left of your screen. Big-time play.
Stevens coming to the backfield on 3rd and 8. Just outside the 20. Millen working out of the shotgun. Pressure, and Millen goes down. It's Leonard Smith. First sack for the Buffalo Bills is only their 12th of the year in game number 9.
Well, they got it with a safety getting the sack. Here you'll see Leonard just sneaking underneath on a twist from the outside. No one blocks him. No one that was there to pick him up. Everyone was out in patterns, and that's something Millen needs to realize. Down close to the goal line, there's less field to defend. A lot of times they'll bring those extra guys up and either blitz them and make a decision a lot quicker than you want to.
With the wind at his back, Jason Skorowski is going to try it up. Special teams have had a problem for New England over the last couple of weeks. They've had a couple blocks. It's a 46-yarder, and it goes wide left. So the Patriots are denied. After a very strong drive, especially on the ground, they failed to capitalize. Skorowski goes wide left, and still a 3-point Buffalo lead. Missing a bit. Cornelius Bennett just wants to remind him.
No. Yeah.
First and 10 for the 29. Thomas run down from behind.
Thomas, the ball carrier.
Garen
It was Marion Hobby getting him from behind. The number 60 came from behind. We check the ITT 10-minute ticker. A lot of changes, as you can see on the scoreboard. Well, they did get a Chris Jackie 53-yard field goal, the Green Bay Packers, to tie it up with the Jets. No huddle, no ticker. And Kelly popped at the 25, a sack for the Patriots. Aaron Veras getting into the backfield.
Well, that's a sack for Garen Veras, but you have to think that those New England defensive backs did their job so well. Kelly had nowhere to go. Usually the ball would be gone about right now. Still covered. Kelly says, well, let me see if I can get out. No, I don't think so.
I never met a lineman who admitted to a coverage sack, though.
Not when I was playing.
Big number 99. 3rd and long for Kelly. He's got time. He's got Beebe. Did he make the grab or not? Yes, and it's a first down for the Bills.
So I don't know how tough what these folks at home's job is, but you talk about making a catch like this on this cold of a day. Kelly says, I can't believe he made that catch. You'll see Beebe just running the corner off, then all of a sudden slam on the brakes and come back to it. Great catch. You could throw about 100,000 balls out there. I would never catch one.
Thurman Thomas never gets out of the backfield. No gain on the carry. And it was Andre Tippett, the outside linebacker, who put down the running back.
They got it. Well, let's see, they're playing so tight.
So to bring up 2nd and 10.
Well, New England's done a good job on this series of being able to adjust on defense. Joe Collier, the defensive coordinator, has figured out what he needs to do to stop that Buffalo ground attack, and he's done it.
2nd and 10, Kelly rolling with time. And the tight end, McKellar, makes quite a grab. First down, Buffalo. 14 yards on the reception.
If you're a defensive guy for New England, you got to think, well, we get Lofton stopped, then they'll go to Reed. If we get him stopped, they'll get Thomas. If we get him stopped, they'll go to Beebe. Now, it's McKellar. When are they going to run out of tools? I mean, these guys got the whole bag.
It's down to the 44 of the Patriots. Kelly with play action, going deep for Lofton, and it's batted away by Maurice Hurst. He is with Lofton every step of the way.
That was super coverage. Now, Kelly just took a whim there and said, hey, I'm just going to throw it up. And it takes a big arm to throw it that far, Joel, against this wind. But Maurice Hurst, Kelly almost slipping out of the blocks there. You get on that paint, that stuff ices up so much more quickly than the rest of the field. But here you watch Hurst. He'll just tailgate him, just kind of cruising behind Lofton. And he did the smart thing. When he saw Lofton look, he looked, and he never looked back, and he went for the ball. No interference.
Outstanding play by the cornerback brings up 2nd and 10 from the 44. Kelly looking for his wideout. It's knocked down, actually, Thurman Thomas. And it go off his fingertips. He was working against the extra defensive back, Tim Gordon.
3rd and 10.
And Gordon's been a nice acquisition, a free agent signing for the New England Patriots. After they cut Darrell Fullington, they picked up Tim Gordon, and he led the secondary in stops with 5 last week in that outstanding defensive effort against Elway and the Broncos.
Well, it looks like they've got another good effort going today because they've been doing all the right things to slow down the Bills.
Kelly now 5 of 9. He gets him to jump. A free down for Buffalo and Kelly. Looking for Lofton, just wide of the intended target, working on Hurst again.
Joe, I'll give you one clue. Who jumped first? Well, he used to live close by. Freddie Smerlis is in the game, lined up on the nose, and I guess Jim Kelly, knowing Freddie the way he does, said, hey, let's see if we can get him off.
Defense, offside, number 60, 5 yards, still third down.
It could have been Burles. It could have been a couple of others. They called it on Marion Hobby.
Look at Freddie over there pointing at him. Yeah, it was him. It was him. I was watching Fred that time. You'll see him right in the center of your picture. He's oh, Freddie. You talk about a character. More than just his playing, I think the New England players like his personality. He's a great addition for them.
7th play of the drive that started back at the Buffalo 29-yard line. And now it brings up 3rd and 5. Flag down in the play as it looked like Marion Hobby was held. Kelly will run for the first down, but it, I believe, will be brought back. It was thrown by the referee where you normally see that holding call.
Well, I don't know for sure, but it looks like the left tackle Wolford was doing a good job on the defensive man until Kelly decided to rush, try to get out of the pocket, and then looks like he may have nabbed him a little bit, but we'll see.
Offensive holding, number 69, 10 yards, still third down.
Well, Will Wolford, I think, is one of the finest left tackles in the game. He and Richter make an awfully good combo there on the left side. You'll see him right there. He's working on Marion Hobby. Now, he's got him blocked. Now, all of a sudden, looks like Hobby spun. Boy, I don't know what's wrong with that. You can't draw that up any better as an offensive line coach. Hey, that's perfect.
Nobody's getting freebies.
So now 3rd and 15. Back at the 49. Kelly with plenty of time. Looking for Lofton. And it sails out of the hand of Jim Kelly. They're working on Ronnie Lepet. So Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills doing well right now, basically between the 220s. They've got a field goal from Scott Norwood. Also had one by Norwood, a long try, go wide. Top-rated quarterback in the NFL leaves empty-handed after that last series. And the holding call cost them a first down well inside the 20-yard line as Irving Pryor waits for the punt from Chris Moore. And into the wind, a very nice punt by Moore. Sails over the head of Pryor. And down early, Chris Hale lets it take a hop. And it's down inside the 10. A 41-yard punt by Chris Moore. Like a nice sand wedge shot into the wind. Little juice came back on it. Perfect position for the punter Moore and the Buffalo Bills. The same cannot be said for the next drive to start for the Patriots. Notre Dame Saturday on NBC. The Volunteers of Tennessee taking on the Fighting Irish. So join us at 1 o'clock Eastern. 1st and 10 for the Patriots, their own 7-yard line. Getting cloudy once again in Buffalo. Leonard Russell out of the backfield with a first down and then some. Kelso hangs on around the ankles. He was taking about 5-6 yards in the process. Russell out across the 25 to the 27, 19 yards on the carry.
If you want to watch how to block, watch number 45 left of your screen right there on Darryl Talley. Now, Talley does a good job of stuffing him, but when you can get a fullback to lock up an all-pro type player like Talley and spring it back through there, you know what you're doing. And I'll tell you what, Leonard Russell is taking advantage of those blocks.
This is the 4th possession of the first down for New England. Leonard Russell with good blocking out in front again across the 30 to the 31-yard line for a gain of close to 5, put down by Lodish and Cornelius Bennett. Opportunity for the ITT 10-minute ticker. We ought to try to sync these tickers up whenever the Patriots have the ball. No time when the Bills have the ball. 7-3 lead. The Lions get the lead for the first time over the Bears at Soldier Field. Washington on a low Miller field goal with an advantage over Houston. Tampa Bay on the board first. At Minnesota, where they're still thinking about baseball and 24 inches of snow.
Snowplow.
Second, a little more than 5. 3-0 lead for Buffalo. 9.5 minutes left in the first half.
An audible.
Russell belted by Bennett. And he does not get back to the line of scrimmage. He loses a yard, Dan.
Well, New England's offense is very effective when they know what they want to do. If they can go to the line and say, okay, we're going to run this play, and the defense is something they feel good about, they can make it happen. There, Hugh Millen called an audible. Now, you'll see, Ivy Joe, he doesn't make the block that he made the play before, letting Bennett knife under there for a big play in the backfield. Now, I think that more than anything else, as an offensive player, you've got to have your mind made up before you have to snap the ball and get into action. And there, I don't think Ivy Joe knew exactly what he had to do.
Well, it's like Hugh Millen told us yesterday, we really don't have an audible system, but we do have a check with me. So we can make some changes, but not many.
Not many, just maybe 1 or 2 per series.
3rd and 6 from the 30. Millen going for Pryor, almost got it in Buffalo territory. Chris Hale, the former USC Trojan in his 3rd year defending on the play.
26 is here.
But again, they were starting to put that pressure on Millen.
Well, they're coming. You'll see here they've got the blitz right up the middle with Smith. There, the offensive line did a good job picking them up.
So now a punting situation again for Sean McCarthy, this time with the wind at his back. His first punt early in the first quarter into a good 20 to 25 mile an hour wind, which is still gusting, but this time from the west and behind him. Al Edwards waiting back at the Buffalo 25-yard line. High snap. McCarthy gets it down. What a break for New England. And it takes a Patriots roll, a big-time New England roll. Are they blowing on the ball as a group right now? It is still rolling.
All right. Somebody park a car at the goal line. Don't let it go in.
Unbelievable.
Is this pro football or pro bowling?
Well, we're close to Canada. It may be curling. A 67-yard punt by McCarthy and doing a great job to pull down a high snap. 8:09 left in the first half. Buffalo gets it back as they cling to a 3-point lead with the ball back at their own 3-yard line. Who is blowing the best out of this group? Now, instead of punting, that's almost like a downhill putt with the grain.
Well, I think he read the grain perfectly on that one. A little extra something for the caddy on that punt.
Down to the 3-yard line. So after New England gets the first down of the run by Leonard Russell after starting with the ball at their own 7, they get out of the hole with a huge punt with the wind at his back for Sean McCarthy. 1st and 10 for Buffalo. Thomas, the only one in the backfield. Thurman Thomas with a first down. And he's outside the 20, near the 25-yard line. Huge hole over the left side.
Gain of 22 yards.
Buffalo won with the 2 tight end set. They just lined up and said, hey, we're coming right at you. Here you'll see 55. But, oh, excuse me, it's number 59. Vincent Brown get tied up with the offensive left tackle, Wolford, springing Thomas. Great block by big Will Wolford.
22 yards for the leading ground gainer in the AFC. He gets the call once again. And he's put down, but the nose tackle, Tim Goat, in a hurry that time. Crossing the 25 to the 27, only getting a couple on the carry.
Well, Tim Goat had a super game last week. He had about 8 tackles, and he was pretty much the guy that made it happen interiorly for the New England Patriots. They stopped Denver cold inside, and Goat had a great day.
Goat jumping offside, a free down for Kelly and Thomas.
Now there's holding.
Thomas, the ball carrier.
And Thomas only gets about 3 out to the 25, or make it the 30-yard line, rather. But it will be a 5-yard mark-off with Go jumping. Was he thrown off, though, possibly?
Oh, I don't think you'll ever get many of those calls unless you get the whole defensive line going and pointing at the same time.
Defense, offside, number 72, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Go to 4th-round pick back in '88 out of North Carolina. That entire defensive front with a stellar effort last week on their home field against the Denver Broncos.
Well, Gold will have to play super today because I think he's playing against the best center in the game right now, Kent Hall. The Buffalo Bills center, he's as good as they get.
And now second and short. Second, just a little more than 2. Counter to Thurman Thomas. Big Howard Ballard leading the way. Get out of the way. Is that a mismatch? Ballard on Maurice Hurst. Thank you.
It's about 190, maybe 200-pound difference there.
And someone's hurt.
Now, we're going to look at this again. Now, Thurman Thomas is a super football player, great running back. But I think I can make a first down here. It's a counter. You'll see the right guard and tackle Davis, and then Ballard, number 75 there, just kind of shove Hurst out of the way like you could push a folding chair out of the way in a movie theater.
Penalty, though, against Buffalo.
He's hurt. He turned around and...
It negates the run.
Penalty, 2nd and 12.
Well, believe it or not, they're calling a hold on the Bills. And was it a hold?
Man, you talk about mismatches. Football's a game of mismatches. Look at this guy. Ballard right there, number 75.
Man, it was a hold.
He's a fine football player, but he is big.
So now it's going to bring up 2nd and long. Followed 2nd and 12. Pressure on Kelly. And was it taken in with a flag down on the play? Yes, taken in by James Lofton. An incredible grab. A yard short the first down. I waited for the officials to come in.
Well, the side judge said no, but he was behind the play. He didn't have a good view. Anyone else should say, well, I don't know, but James Lofton. Oh, what's
defensive pass interference. Number 27, automatic first down.
Did not matter.
They call it on David Poole.
Penalty, 1st and 10 at the 34.
And a reminder, at the conclusion of today's contest, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award. It'll be given to the game's MVP. So 1st and 10 on the pass interference call at the 34-yard line. Kenneth Davis cutting it back to the 40-yard line. And with 6:23 left in the first half at Buffalo, let's head to Bob Costas now for an update in New York.
Joel, the Browns have won half of their 8 games. The Bengals winless in 8 starts. And today, in the Battle of Ohio, the Browns take a 7-3 lead early in the second quarter on this touchdown run by Kevin Mack. Let's go back to Joel Myers.
Kenneth Davis on the carry once again. And on 2nd down, it breaks out, flags into the air. Marion got into it. And was it that future WWF wrestler, Mitch Farrat?
It was. The trained assassin.
I loved it when you asked Farrat yesterday, who are you patting yourself after in the WWF? And I'll get to that in a second.
Personal foul. Number 59 defense. 15 yards. First down.
They call it on Vincent Brown. 59 on the offense is Farrat, but when you ask Mitch who he patterns himself after in the WWF, because he wants to be a wrestler someday, he said, what are you talking about? He goes, they broke the mold. I'm the man.
Reminded me of what Elvis said when I said, who you sound like? He said, I don't sound like nobody.
It's a first down for Buffalo. So the personal foul going against the linebacker Brown. 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Thurman Thomas just barely tripped up by Brent Williams for the defensive lineman. And a chance to check the ITT 10-minute ticker in about 10 seconds with the no huddle. Washington on the Low Miller field goal. Detroit on a touchdown pass by Eric Kramer with the lead. Another Chris Jackie field goal. The Packers on top. You heard Bob Costas talking about Cleveland's touchdown. And still 3-0. Buffalo on top of New England with 5:20 left in this one in the first half. And it's thrown out of the reach of McKellar, the tight end. Fred Marion defending.
Well, David Howard came on a blitz that time untouched. Kelly had to get rid of the ball. Looks like they took the Grim Reaper out, and Jim Richters back at left guard now, Joel.
By the way, with that last run by Thurman Thomas, he has just passed 6,000 career combined yards, rushing and receiving. That is saying a lot for a player who's only in his 4th year. 3rd and 6 now. Big play for the Bills. Wind at their back, with Kelly most likely throwing the ball. On 3rd and 6 outside of the 40. And he's got a wide open Thurman Thomas, who can't maintain his footing or else it's 6. Instead, it's 1st and goal to the 8.
Well, Howard, number 99, is playing for Singleton, the injured linebacker, so, you know, he played super last week, but here it looks like he blew a coverage. Now, we're not completely sure, but he's the guy chasing him, and usually that means, hey, that's my guy. Well, that's the great thing about Kelly. You know, he's big, he's strong, he's tall, and he can see the entire field. He knows if he'd have thrown a better ball, it would have been 6.
Play action. Kelly on the naked bootleg, barely tripped up by Vincent Brown. He will not remind you of Steve Young.
Well, he kind of reminded me of you running for the cab at the airport last week.
Fortunately, I wasn't tripped up. It's 2nd and goal now, inside the 4. Rarely do you see Jim Kelly run the ball. Thomas, the only one in the backfield. 3 wide receivers setting up. Thurman Thomas will not get in. David Howard there. It's inside the 3, where it'll be 3rd and goal.
It looks like Thurman Thomas got a little kickstart there. They got away with it.
So you thought he left a little early.
Just a little bit. He broke his left knee. I was watching to see if he was going to run a counter or just a dive. And but a guy like that, here's a guy that's leading. You see right there, he is rocking. Didn't get a chance to see it.
Didn't look like he was ever set, Dan.
No, he was rocking. And a lot of times, you know, New England or Tampa Bay might be called for that, but Thurman Thomas is leading the NFL in total yards. He didn't do anything wrong.
3 tight end formation. Now they split out McKellar, putting Gardner in the slot. Kelly on 3rd and goal is going to throw. Batted away. Harry Coleman, the strong safety, knocked it away from Pete Metzelaars. Big play.
Well, it's kind of funny. They bring all those guys in, you know, you think, sure, run. Well, that's when Kelly likes to go with the play-action pass or maybe someone get him out of the pocket. And it's exactly what they went with. Coleman made just a real smart play. Got back 5 yards deep in the end zone and broke on the ball.
So now it'll be a 21-yard field goal attempt coming up for Scott Norwood. They already lead by 3. Will it be 6? It's perfect. So Norwood with all the points so far today for Buffalo as the Bills are on top by 6. A little more than 3 minutes left in the first half. Fans of the NFL, they have led the league in attendance since 1988. Easy day to take it easy, build a fire. It's on local TV, but there aren't that many no-shows at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Bills went a long way for only 3 points. So a bit of a confidence builder for the New England Patriots. They didn't break inside the 10.
Not only are they maybe the best fans in the league, but they're the neatest, Joel, because they know if they spill something, by the time they clean it up, they could have missed a score for Buffalo.
Well, if they spill it, they don't have time to clean it up. It freezes and they can skate on it.
Well, that too.
Del Liso getting ready to kick it away. To Marvin Allen and John Vaughn. Into the wind it goes. A short one. It'll be taken by John Vaughn. On the run across the 30. Great field position for the Patriots. As we come back, they will be starting their 5th drive of the first half, looking for their first points with 3:05 remaining in the first 30 minutes of play. Actor at Rich Stadium in Buffalo today. Joel Myers with Dan Hampton. Now the wind is at the back of Hugh Millen with 3:05 left in the first half. Let's see, Dan, if they possibly think about putting it up a little bit more. Instead, delay for Leonard Russell. Gets around the corner, knocks down the defensive back Kirby Jackson, and gets the first down going out of bounds. 12 yards on the carry. You see, this is the 5th possession. That's why I brought up the wind. Their first 4. They have not had a lot of luck when they have been going into the wind, so you would think now with the wind at their back for the last time in the first half, they know they're going to be into the wind again for the 3rd quarter. Will they take some chances?
Well, I think they have to, Joel. But they know that the run sets up the pass for New England, and they're going to go ahead and pound away, but look for play action here pretty quick.
First and 10 near the 47.
There it is.
Millen with time. Goes for the tight end. Marv Cook can't hang on near the 40. Leonard Smith, the strong safety, defending as Millen took a shot at the end of the play.
Well, the play action is something that Hugh Millen feels real comfortable with, and he's a real sharp guy. I mean, he's very, very bright. He reads the field exceptionally well. You'll see him scanning right, left. Then he decides to go back to Cook, his tight end, right in the middle, as he takes a kiss from a Buffalo Bill, Bentley. But that's a very catchable ball. It's a good throw. Marv Cook, I think, is one of the best unknown guys in the entire NFL. He should have had that.
Full complement of timeouts for each team. A 6-0 Buffalo lead. A little more than 2.5 left in the first half. Irving Fryer had plenty of room on Kirby Jackson. And I believe he's got the first down, yes. Inside the 43 to the 42, put down by Shane Conlon and Kirby Jackson.
Well, Irving Fryer is a guy that has matured so much, and we've talked about earlier in the program, Joe, but there, that shows you. Right there, he knew that he would be in single coverage with the linebacker sliding out. Now, Conlon came out to cover him underneath, but Millen was smart enough to know that what he was going to do was push the corner off, turn around, and Millen fired the ball to him for the first down. That's great execution by quarterback and receiver.
We have reached the 2-minute warning in Buffalo. Be right back as the Patriots are in Bills territory, down by 6. Sports facts, and when was the last game the Bills lost at home on NBC Sports? We'll have that answer for you in just a couple of minutes, and don't forget, right at the end of the first half here at Rich Stadium, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report with Bob Costas and company. But right now, a big chance for the Patriots. They've got it, 1st and 10. Near the 42 of Buffalo. They've already got 84 yards on the ground in the first half. Millen will go to the air, though. The quick one for Fryer, who drops the ball. And did he ever have a cushion on Kirby Jackson, who would slip down? And while we have a chance, it's the ITT 10-minute ticker. Field goal for the Oilers, tying things up at RFK. Detroit maintains that lead at Soldier Field. San Francisco on the board first. At Atlanta, the 4-4 49ers looking better. Another touchdown, another Kevin Mack run for the Cleveland Browns. Green Bay still on top of the Jets by 3. 2nd and 10 from the 42. Over the middle, Ben Coates, the tight end, still on his feet. And he's got it down to the 35, short of the first down by a couple. And Hugh Millen was telling us yesterday that Ben Coates was a steal in the 5th round, the rookie, Livingstone College.
Well, Tom Bass, our player personnel, man, one of the guys that work with the players, he says, I can't believe this guy was there when we picked him. They love him. They think he's got a chance to be a superstar.
It's a New England timeout, their first time out of the first half. We'll be right back to Rich Stadium. Anything to break the wind in Buffalo, as it's gusting at about 25 miles an hour. I thought Halloween was over. Patriots, critical 3rd down coming up. They are 0 for 4 in 3rd down so far. They're looking to 3rd and just about 3. Long count by Millen. Has Ben Coates, the tight end, for the first down. He's got it to the 27. He took a lick from behind and held on.
A lot of times you see teams go to their tight ends in these situations because normally they're going to block. And those linebackers, they'll kind of sell out, and they're easy to get open. You'll see him right there. The linebacker just lets him uncover right in the middle. It's an easy throw, easy catch.
1st and 10, the 27. Protection good for Millen. Again for the tight end, Ben Coates. You told us yesterday with this offense, it's really geared towards the tight end, and he's looking for Cook and Coates early today.
The great thing about that is if Hugh Millen continues to find that tight end inside, it'll keep those linebackers back. It'll keep those safeties inside, and sooner or later he can start going outside to Fryer, McMurtry, those guys with speed, because they're going to have to suck into the middle of the defense because it's soft. That's just making the smart decision very, very quickly, and that's something Hugh Millen, I think, is one of his big strengths. There you'll see him in the pocket. He looks right. Fryer's covered by 2 guys. So there he goes back to Coates, who's basically sandwiched on deep dropping linebackers. Smart move.
3rd catch for Ben Coates. He's got 24 yards in receptions. And the moment you've been waiting for. Our Xerox Sports Facts. When was the last game the Bills lost at home on NBC Sports? Drum roll, please. The Patriots back in '87. That was the last time that the Bills lost at home to a division opponent. The New England Patriots. That fatal day in '87.
What's that bright light out there, Joe?
I I don't believe it. The sun is breaking through.
The crowd likes it, too.
He's had an omen for Patriot fans. Second and short. Second and a yard. Patriots down by 6. Going for the running back. And it's overthrown as they were looking for John Vaughn. Well, they took a chance on second and short.
Well, there you saw the linebackers getting good drops. They rushed forward. They dropped 3 linebackers. The linebackers more or less dropped out and fanned into those outside zone areas. Hugh trying to put enough loft on the ball to get it over the linebacker and drop it in before the safety can come over. It didn't work.
I thought the line of the week, though, the quote of the week belonged to the quarterback for the Patriots, Hugh Millen. He said after the loss last week, when you make a decision not to play golf or tennis for your livelihood, you open yourself up to a situation where you can let a lot of other people down. Third and a little more than a yard. Leonard Russell diving inside the 20. He didn't get it. Leon Seals tripped him up.
Made the tackle. A loss of 1. 4th and 2.
So now 4th. And let's see where they spotted at the 19. They need to go inside the 18, close to the 17. A decision for Dick McPherson. Dick Corey, the offensive coordinator in the New England staff. What do you do, Dan?
Well, I think what he does right now is very important, not only for the outcome today, but the players on the team. You know, last week, with the way they handled the last second part of the game, and, you know, his decisions were questioned all week. We talked to him about it yesterday, and he said, you know, the big thing about it is, he says, I always told my players I'd never do anything to hurt you. I would only make decisions that would help you. And by going for it there on that last play last week, I don't know. I think right now he's doing the right thing.
He is going for the field goal. Let the clock run down. They've used their last time out, down by 6. McPherson wanted to get points on the board for his team before halftime.
Something you forget about last week was the field goal they tried early in the 4th quarter was blocked. It's important to get good protection here.
They've had a kick blocked in each of the last 2 games. Now Starofsky trying to get their first points of the day, and they do on a 36-yard field goal. So on a drive that started back at their own 35, nice mix of pass run, and especially featuring the tight end Ben Coates, as Starofsky comes through with a 36-yarder, and now it's only a 3-point margin. Well, the sun is back in now that the Patriots got the sun out, got their points. They're back within 3 with the 36-yard field goal from Jason Starofsky.
Well, the big part of the game so far has been the fumble by Russell. That's the only difference.
It'll be Don Beebe bringing back the kickoff of Starofsky, the line drive effort. And Beebe across the 30, going down with 1 second remaining in the first half.
You know, Joel, I think in a situation like this where you have 1 second to go, you ought to have an offensive lineman call the play. You want to run block, you want to throw it deep, you want a quick kick, you want to play fullback. What do you want to do? Do something. I mean, what's the chances of scoring? Hey, they ought to have Howard Ballard play quarterback and see if anybody on New England's defense can tackle him for a sack. I think that would be a hoot. Hey, who wants to tackle a 350-pound quarterback? Come on, step right up.
Well, they won't go to the tip drill, throwing the ball into the wind. They'll take 1 snap and head to the locker room. And a very positive start for the 3-5 New England Patriots. And there is your choice for quarterback, Howard Ballard.
Even his pants look hungry.
The Bills lead it by 3 over the Patriots in an early battle of the place kickers. When we come back, we'll be back with the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report right after this word from the National Football League and a message from your local station. The Bills on top of the Patriots at the intermission, 6-3. In Buffalo, we've got a battle going on against 2 old AFC Eastern Division rivals. The Bills leading the Patriots. And let's join Bob Costas now for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Okay, Bob Costas with Will McDonough and Bill Parcells here in the studio in New York. We welcome those of you who watched the first half of the Patriots and the Bills, and of course those of you who've watched the Oilers and the Redskins. It's 6-3 in both games. The Oilers with the lead at RFK. Let's go to the sidelines there and rejoin O.J. Simpson for his thoughts on the first half. Juice?
Well, Bob, you know, out here they were saying that this was going to be a preview of this year's Super Bowl. It was more like the review in the first quarter of last year's Super Bowl, with the Redskins keeping the Oilers' high-powered offense off the field. But the Oilers made a very interesting adjustment in the second quarter. What Washington was doing is playing a very deep zone. You can't even see their safeties on your TV screen. They're playing so far back. Their linebackers were active at the line of scrimmage. When the ball was snapped, they were running way back. What they were keeping Houston from doing was completing that 20-yard pass to their wide receivers. I think Moon only threw 2 passes in the whole first half over 20 yards. Well, what Houston did at that point is they started using Lorenzo White. I think he's been the most valuable player in the first half. He's made some great blocks, great pickups. And what he started doing was running those little option passes out of the backfield, a couple of screen passes, and that has forced Washington to bring their linebackers up now. So I expect in the second half, Moon will be able to throw the ball 20 yards in, 20 yards out to his wide receivers. So it's up to Washington to make the adjustment now.
O.J., thanks a lot. The second field goal for the Oilers, of course, came after the Lamar Lathan interception. Prior to that, both field goal drives were 17-play affairs. Washington held the ball for 10:36 before Lohmiller connected from 21. Then going 81 yards in 17 plays, holding it for 9:38 before Howfield of Houston tied it at 3, and then off the turnover, Houston is able to take the lead 6-3 just before halftime. Bill?
Both teams trying to get something established. Washington, quite obviously, with the running game, and Houston, as O.J. said, with the short pass to the backs. I agree that Houston did make that adjustment with O.J. that O.J. was talking about, but I don't think Washington is going to change too much. Don't forget, Oilers' high-powered offense. Now, they only have 6 points. Washington's playing pretty just about the way they want to defensively.
Willie?
All year long, people have said, how good is Houston? Well, they always said, how good is the Houston defense? And I think you've seen it here today. They're playing a high-powered team, and they're playing very well.
Yeah, we've heard about Richie Pettibone as the defensive coordinator for the Redskins. Jim Eddy has to be pleased with the work of his group for the Houston Oilers today.
Well, they've done what they had to do in this game, is put a lot of people in the face of Mark Rippon.
All right, let's take a look at some of the other scores from around the league. Both Detroit and Chicago are 6-2. They're tied for the lead in the NFC Central, and it's the Lions with the lead in this game at halftime, 10-3. 20-mile-per-hour winds, below 0 wind chill at Soldier Field. The Lions with the lead by a touchdown. In the game some of you are watching, Buffalo, which has won 15 consecutive games at home and 30 of their last 32 at Rich Stadium, leading by only a score of 6-3 over the Patriots. Now, the Bills average 40 points a game this year at home, but Joe Collier's defense for the Patriots hasn't allowed more than 24 points in any game. And the 3-5 Patriots have been competitive in almost every game they've played, and they're within a field goal at intermission in this one. San Francisco has the lead at Atlanta late in the second quarter, 7-0. Steve Young threw a 97-yard touchdown pass to John Taylor. It's the longest touchdown play from scrimmage in the league this year. He threw it from the end zone. Taylor caught it around the 50 between 2 defenders, one of whom was the former 49er Tim McKyer. Then Deion Sanders, trailing the play, couldn't catch Taylor from behind. Chris Miller has bruised ribs. He's gone out at quarterback for the Falcons. Billy Joe Tolliver is in, and the Niners lead 7-0. In the Battle of Ohio, Cleveland has the lead at Cincinnati, 14-10. Late in the second, Harold Green, the young running back for the Bengals, 9 carries for 106 yards already. Green Bay and the Jets, a tie just snapped there on an O'Brien touchdown pass to Chris Burkett, so the Jets have the lead, 13-6. And Tampa Bay has a halftime lead at the Metrodome over the Vikings on a 49-yard field goal by Steve Christie. The score there is 3-0 in favor of the Bucs. We're back to talk with Bill Parcells about football superstitions as NFL Live halftime activities continue right after this message from your local stations.
Live halftime report brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Okay, with Bill Parcells, Bob Costas back at our NFL Live studios in New York. Now, with Halloween still a recent memory, we thought it might be an appropriate time to discuss football and superstition. For all his meticulous attention to detail and hard work, Parcells here incorporated a fair amount of superstition into his coaching. We'll start now by hearing from Bill's former defensive coordinator, now the Browns head coach, Bill Belichick.
In Bill's office, he had a lot of elephants in his office on his desk, and their trunks were all turned a certain way, towards the door, or towards the window. I don't know, whatever brought him good luck. And Bill did things routinely, and when those routines worked, then he would stay with them. So if we didn't practice on Saturday and then won the game, you could bank on the fact that next Saturday we wouldn't practice.
Think most coaches and players are like that? They have some kind of superstition?
Oh, I think so. A lot of the players never claimed to have any, but I always noticed that they used to call to my attention the fact that we were digressing from what had been the norm, especially if things were going well. So deep down, we had a few closet guys that had the same superstitions I had.
You know, the only ones that used to bother me, and you'd hear about them in football, baseball, whatever the sport, is when a guy had a certain garment, and he did well, and then he wouldn't wash it, which is bad enough in baseball where you play every day, but in football where you play week to week, if a guy's going 6, 7 weeks, you know, with a pair of socks, I don't care. It's got to change.
Well, we never had those, but we would wear the same stuff, but it was sent to the dry cleaner.
Well, that's reassuring. For more on Bill's penchant for superstition, again, we go back to Bill Belichick.
Who would be the first guy in the locker room, or where he would sit in the locker room, who he stood next to in the national anthem. I think that was a big thing, that when the wrong guy stood to him, he clubbed him over the head and told him to get out of the way because he wasn't supposed to be standing there, you know, stuff like that.
He had a lot on his mind then, during the game.
Bill could keep track of a lot of things, a lot more than I could.
Did you have an assistant in charge of superstitions? A guy with a clipboard keep track of them?
No, it's just the coaches and the players got to know him. You know, you don't pick up pennies with the heads up. And that sideline thing for a number of years, I had my captain always stand next to me on the side of Harry Carson. He couldn't win a coin toss, so I knew every time I sent him out from there we were going to lose the toss. You know, we had a little advantage. We could plan ahead.
Step on a crack, you know, break a witch's back. Now, we dug into our archives and found this tape of Parcells talking about yet another of his superstitions.
Cats. Black cats, or cats in general. You know, if they cross in front of you, you can erase them. Do you know how to do that?
No.
Well, you drive your car over where he was, and then you back up, and then you drive back over. Then he doesn't count after that.
Well, just to make you feel at home here on the set, between cats and pachyderms, there you go.
Well, you have to point this trunk toward the door. Trunk has to be up, and he has to be facing the door. And that brings you good luck.
Well, with any luck at all, NFL Live halftime activities will continue. Please stay with us.
It's halftime with the Bills leading the Patriots 6-3 in a battle of the place kickers so far. The elements have so much to do with what has been going on, though, Dan, in the first 30 minutes of play. The wind out of the west gusting a good 25 to 30 miles an hour. And the stats basically even, especially on the ground, where New England's done a good job. Most of those 83 for Leonard Russell.
Well, Russell's running the ball very strongly, and I think he's getting an awful lot of help from his offensive line. What they're trying to do is, well, let's just take it right to that Buffalo front, but you also have to look at Buffalo. I mean, they're rushing the ball almost as well, and I think basically it all boils down to on a cold, blustery day like this, you count on your offensive line, and so far, the offensive lines have been able to knock people off the ball and yet protect the quarterbacks when they had to pass.
Now the wind is going to be at the back of Jim Kelly for the third quarter of play, as Kelly was 6 of 14 for a total of 91 yards, way below his average for the first 30 minutes of play. The Buffalo Bills so far this year averaging a little more than 30 points per contest and 420 yards offensively. So give some credit to that New England defense that's done a good job of slowing things down.
Well, New England's going to have the ball this quarter.
Yes, and they're going to be, Kelly now is going to be throwing into the wind.
Exactly. What they did, they said, hey, we'll take it in the fourth quarter. And if anything, I think they're going to be patient right now and let their defense try to make something happen. If it doesn't, they'll go back to the old-time tested traditional formula here the last couple of years. Let Jim Kelly win it on offense.
Patriots have always been a thorn in the side of the Buffalo Bills. In fact, going all the way back to the beginning of the series, these two old AFL teams, in the 31 meetings in Buffalo between the Patriots and the Bills, the record is 15-15 and one tie.
Well, I think the indicative game we could look at is last year when New England was awful. They didn't get beat by Buffalo until the last seconds.
It'll be Don Beebe bringing back the second half kickoff. And he's spun around by Tarditz. Finally put down, crossing the 20. But Tarditz got down there early on the special teams to make the play. And they'll have it first and 10 at their own 23.
You know, we're talking about the offensive line's doing a good job. And it gets to 3-4. The center has to handle the nose guard. And the tackles have to handle the defensive ends. But I think the guys that are really playing well are the two guards on Buffalo and the two guards on New England. They're getting those inside linebackers blocked, and that's probably the toughest job of all the offensive linemen today, because both teams have outstanding inside linebackers.
We'll find out now if the #1 offense in the NFL can start to put it together. 1st and 10 of their own 23. And movement over on the left side for the tight end, McKellar. An ominous beginning, to say the least.
Offense, prior to snap, number 84. 5 yards, still first down.
Well, that looked like a pass release, so it looks like Kelly wants to come out and throw the ball against the wind. No, I mistakenly said pass. No, he's going to go ahead and fire out. They're going to try to run the ball like I thought. I'm just going to try to keep it on the ground, let their defense try to make something happen.
So now they go to 3 wideouts. Into the wind. It's 1st and 15. It'll be the lay for Thurman Thomas. Huge hole up the middle, across the 25. He's at the 29-yard line. So, Dan, it looked like they spread that defense and then go up the gut.
Well, that's exactly what they did. You know, a lot of times you can get those outside linebackers to walk off. There you see Tippett way outside. Those inside linebackers kind of have to worry about those deep drops. All of a sudden, you pop a good back like Thurman in there, he can make a lot of yards.
2nd and 4. Thurman Thomas put down. Vincent Brown spun him around. David Howard with the tackle. Out across the 30 at the 31. It'll bring up 3rd and short. 3rd and 2. The comparison between the two running backs, Thurman Thomas, best in the AFC on the ground, 71 yards so far.
The thing about that comparison is Russell's a rookie. I mean, if he's not rookie of the year, I don't know who is.
3rd and 2. They are 3 of 7 and 3rd downs, and that familiar crossing pattern for Andre Reed. There he goes. Inside the 20, he's bumped out of bounds. Down at the 14-yard line. A simple pattern turns into a big play.
We talked before about how many weapons they have. We haven't heard from Andre in quite some time, but all of a sudden here he makes the biggest play of the game thus far. A simple crossing pattern. He's so big and strong. You can't just arm tackle him. You've got to square up. Those other defensive backs, as they, oh my God, here he comes, and they try to get position. He makes a couple of cuts. Boom, 60 yards.
So they convert in a big way on 3rd and 2, and now they've got it 1st and 10 at the 14 of the Patriots. Thomas knocked down by Goad. He gets a yard to the 13-yard line. Well, that's one of those patterns you have to look for when you play the Buffalo Bills. They love to go to Reed across the middle.
He and Lofton. You know, BB's the guy they like to push corners off with the speed, but Lofton and Andre Reed are so big and strong, they're not scared of going in there where a safety can get a good shot on them. They're big and strong enough where they can catch the ball and yet make something happen.
2nd and 9. Can they stop them inside the red zone? Kelly with all day has Don Beebe. Touchdown.
Right there is exactly what can kill you. You start worrying about those crossing patterns. You see those safeties jumping down inside. Then you leave your corners one-on-one with a guy like Beebe. It's not a real good situation, especially when you don't get rushed, Joel. I mean, Kelly could stand there all day, sell cars if he wanted to. Offensive line doing a terrific job. Kelly throwing the ball perfectly.
And remember, the Bills did this working into the wind.
Well, I said they'd stay on the ground. That's what I know.
Norwood in for the extra point. Bills go up by 10. So the 13-yard touchdown taken in by Don Beebe, one of the quickest members on that offensive unit. 10-point Buffalo lead. The headgear is out in force in windy cold Buffalo. And welcome back once again, Joel Myers, Dan Hampton. The Bills up by 10. As John Vaughn and Marvin Allen wait for that kickoff. It'll be taken by Allen inside his own 15. Put down, crossing the 25 at the 26-yard line. Marcus Patton, the former UCLA Bruin, the first one down there for Buffalo on the special teams. Now Hugh Millen, a spotty first half. 6 of 12 for a total of 51 yards with the wind at his back. They have to make some noise offensively.
Well, I think he did a good job in what he was asked to do, except for that first series. And that first series is so important, especially after what happened last week. It's good to come out and show your composure. It didn't happen, and looks like they never got into sync in the passing game. I think they're going to have to go to it now, Joel, with the win. They jumped out here. Fryer jumped on the bottom. Oh, excuse me, McMurtry.
Movement by the wideout. Larry Nemmers, the referee this afternoon.
Talking about the officials, I think they've done a fine job up to this point, Joel, and you know that's a great thing about officiating. You can either stay out of it and let the players decide the game, or you can get involved. And a lot of people think they maybe sometimes they do get too involved. I think this has been a well-refereed contest so far.
Well, now you've mentioned them. You've really done a number on us. The whammy. That was Walt Corey on the sideline, the defensive coordinator. Cornelius Bennett thought he saw movement by the wideout.
Hey, he did move. I was watching it. I don't know. We might show a replay. Help straighten this thing out a little bit.
Full start prior to the snap. Number 86 offense. 5 yards, still first down.
I still don't think Cornelius likes the call, but that's the only one I could see.
So the call goes against Greg McMurtry in his second year from Michigan, a third-round draft choice last year.
And that's the thing experience will give you. Not making crucial mistakes like that early. You know, they needed to come out and establish something, yet now they're starting into a hole, first and 15.
Ball back inside their own 21-yard line. Leonard Russell, nothing doing on the left side. A yard, and that is all. Jeff Wright, along with Hansen.
Well, I said something earlier about how they're going to run at Hansen. They like the matchup they have with Armstrong, the big tackle, number 78 there. You'll see Hansen doing a good job getting his arms out, loading up, making the fullback, Hunter, take him. That frees up a linebacker to come over untouched and make the play. Hansen did a terrific job there. We haven't heard much about him so far. But that's a big-time play there.
He's the rookie from North Dakota State, their second-round draft pick. Second and 14 now to 22. Dumps it off to Russell. And the Bills are there in for Shane Conlon over with Kirby Jackson. After Russell made the first man miss. Not exactly the ultimate now for the New England Patriots. The pressure they put their quarterback under, third and long, and only his 9th NFL start.
Well, the good thing is for New England is they haven't been able to get a pass rush without blitzing someone. Here, Bennett bangs the tight end pretty good. Then he gets back out there in position, except for being, the field being a little slippery. He goes down, but that's a great play by Cornelius. Jamming tight end, getting out, and making something happen.
New England only 1 of 6 on third down conversions. Third and long. Pryor's got the first down, taking it across the 40 to the 44-yard line.
Irvin kind of landed hard on that cold, rock-hard field. Maybe the ball knocked some air out. I hope he's not hurt too badly, but that's the kind of play that you look for in a leader. You know, we talked earlier about the maturity that he's displaying now on and off the field. A lot of times a quarterback needs to develop a guy he can look to first and foremost. There was no question. Hugh Millen was on Irving Fryer all the way.
He landed on that left shoulder. He is working with a broken finger on the 4th finger of his left hand, the wedding ring finger. The ball was on that side. He landed on the side with the left shoulder crashing into this hard frozen turf in Buffalo. Find out about Irving Fryer when we come back to Rich Stadium. To be okay. We've been watching him on the sideline. It looked like he was nodding that I'm all right. It looked like maybe he just had the wind knocked out of him.
Well, you'll see him right there between the gentleman in the blue coat and the red tarp. And that is good news for New England fans because he is their big strike guy on offense. You know, they got big, strong backs. They've got good receivers and good tight ends, but he's their big strike guy, and they need him.
First and 10 for the Patriots after that big reception of 23 yards by Fryer. They've got it to the 44. Millen with time again. And his man McMurtry releases over the middle. Still on his feet. Inside the 20-yard line. Big play to McMurtry to the 16.
Well, we talked earlier about the fact if they're going to throw the ball and get back in this thing, they've got to climb in the boat now and start paddling. Hugh Millen running a little play action here. Freezes the interior rush. They're not a factor. He's able to go ahead and find McMurtry down the middle on a deep seam pattern where you get underneath the safeties. Excuse me, not a seam, but a deep crosser where you get underneath the safeties and behind the linebackers.
Perfectly thrown pass, catching McMurtry right in stride.
Is he saying you who or Hugh is saying you?
40 yards on the catch. First and 10 to the 16 of Buffalo. Stevens in the backfield now with Russell. And they're throwing on first down. Millen in trouble, goes down. Jeff Wright with his first sack of the season.
Big play. Jeff Wright.
And then John Melander getting into it. The guard who's getting the start for Greg Riccozzi. That's the second sack today for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, I think you'll see it right here. The center takes right and then more or less gets off balance. Right, just hand fighting with him. Gets the center Chilton off balance and comes back inside. That's what he can give you. Jeff Wright is really the only pure power player on the field for Buffalo at this point. And they need that type of push up the middle to collapse the pocket.
Second and long, second and 20, a loss of 10 yards. Three wide receivers setting up for Millen. Inside give to John Stevens. And he's tripped up. Crossing the 22, near the 21. Leonard Smith got him.
Leonard Smith had him in a kind of a spy technique where he was just in the backfield watching him. You'll see Smith right in the center of your screen, number 46. He's just watching the fullback. That's his job. Wherever he goes, you get him. If he blocks, you can blitz. If he gets the ball, you go tackle him.
So now after that 4-yard carry for John Stevens, it brings up 3rd and 16 for Dick McPherson and his crew. Millen into the end zone and out of the reach of Timpson as Chris Hale was defending.
Well, that was great coverage by Buffalo. Chris Hale is a guy that is silky smooth and able to get in the back pocket of receivers. Certain people like to do different things. Here, his technique is get a jam on him, then you'll see him run right in his left hip pocket, kind of put his hand on there to make sure you know where he's at, look back at the quarterback, and play the ball. You can't draw it up any better than that, Joel.
Talked to Chris Hale yesterday, the former USC Trojan. Not a great prognosticator. He thought the Trojans would win by 10 over Cal.
It's a good thing he's got a job out here playing today.
Jason Starofsky has accounted for the only points of the day. Now he tries a 39-yarder, and he's got it. Flag is down to the play, though.
Flag on the play.
Nate Odoms complaining.
It looks like it may be against Buffalo.
Was it a late hit, a personal foul coming up?
Odoms could have ran into the kicker. Well, roughing the kicker is first down, so that's a big play. Odoms trying to make something happen, turning that corner in great shape, maybe taking 1 or 2 steps too many. His momentum carried him into the kicker. We'll get a call here in just a second. Marv Levy doesn't like it so good. But I mean, that's not dirty football or anything, Joel. I mean, those guys, that's a thankless job. You'll do that entire season, turn that shoulder. And I'm talking about those outside guys turning the corner here. It's hard, and you have to lay out on this AstroTurf time and time again. And maybe once a year you'll get a block. But it's a thankless job, and he's a good player, and he does it well. A little bit too much momentum there.
The options presented to head coach Dick McPherson. As Hugh Millen comes over from the sideline. And they'll take the points off the board.
Automatic first down.
So the offense is back out. It's a 13-3 lead. They take the points off the board, and the offense back out, 1st and 10 deep in Buffalo territory.
You talk about big breaks of the game. So far, there's been 2 up until this point. I think the fumble by Russell, the big catch by Andre Reed, and now this one. So, you know, each game's going to have maybe 5 or 6 big plays. When New England just was the first especially when they've been able to receive. The other two have went against him.
And now the crowd into it. Hugh Millen told us yesterday, though, they were ready for the crowd with hand signals. He will call check with me's and change plays with hand signals to his receivers down the line.
But a few times today I've seen certain things in the defense. If I was a quarterback, I would try to attack, and they're not able to implement a complete change of play. They've only got a couple that they can go to, so we'll see what Hugh does here.
They can get a first down because it's 1st and 10 outside of the 11. Leonard Russell knocked down in the backfield. Bill Hansen, the rookie from North Dakota State. He told us yesterday, biggest guy he played in front of at North Dakota State was about 20,000. He says, that's not the big difference, though. It's the huge body across from me.
He says the big guys. You'll see him at the top of your screen, unblocked, number 90, coming in there. Now, here's a big kid they really like. He's split high. He's able to rush the passer. What he needs to develop is that strength in the upper body to handle these 310, 20-pound offensive tackles. He was unblocked there, but a guy that has that kind of speed at 265 pounds coming down from the outside, you've got to play him and let him get stronger as he plays.
Loss of 2 yards on the carry. Millen in and out of the hands of McMurtry. He had it for a moment down to the 2-yard line.
Well,
Kirby Jackson defending.
Great throw, Joel. So critical for quarterbacks to know where to throw the ball down in the end zone. And, you know, we talk to quarterbacks each and every week. But the thing is, you've got to throw the ball not only where your receiver can catch it, but where the defensive guy cannot get to it. There, that was a good throw, a ball that should have been caught.
Lucky with the Hurts 10-minute ticker. Jets with a touchdown pass to Burkett. Lead Green Bay by 7. And a critical 3rd down. Don't forget the Patriots. And they had to. They took points off the board with an opportunity to get 6. Now it's 3rd and a dozen. Outside the 13-yard line. Movement by Millen. And the play is whistled dead. It looked like Millen jumped early.
False start prior to the snap. Number 7.
Chris Millen's got to be kicking to himself. What has happened here? He sees something and he can't wait to get the ball back.
Before the false start on the offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Well, that's why I wanted to rush the snap.
Well, a lot of times those quarterbacks, they'll see something and their mind goes into like a hyper war drive, and they can't wait for the ball to get to him so they can attack the defense. And you know, this guy is so intelligent, very, very bright guy. But a lot of times you get a little bit too smart and make little dumb mistakes like that.
Well, the last thing you want to do is get the fans involved in Buffalo. That's exactly what's happened after the penalty of roughing the kicker. 3rd and 17. Millen into the corner for Fryer. Can't come up. Can't get it. Just a bit underthrown by Millen.
Not only that, Joel, he had an awful lot of time. Buffalo only rushed 3 guys. He had all day. He could have waited for somebody to uncover and smoke the ball in there. Instead, he tries to go on a little timing pattern and just never really gets enough zip on it. Although Fryer run a terrific pattern and uncovered, the ball had been a little bit harder thrown.
Now Skorofsky had a 39-yarder they took off the board. He'll try one more time, this time from 35 yards out. The spot at the 25-yard line. The wind at his back. And it's tailing. Did it go inside the upright? No! He misses. It pushes wide right. ...35-yard field goal try fails for Skorofsky and the Patriots. NBC next Saturday, the Volunteers of Tennessee, who had a big day offensively yesterday against Memphis State, and Notre Dame with a shutout of Navy. Matchup, the Volunteers of the Fighting Irish next Saturday, all starting at 1 o'clock Eastern. It doesn't look good.
Not good.
It's trying to snow right now in Buffalo. Hold off just an hour. 1st and 10 at the 20. Thurman Thomas getting the block to the outside. And he's near a first down. Nice block of the linebacker, Vincent Brown. Got Thomas, that 9-yard gain.
Joe, you know, there's an awful lot said about Jim Kelly and the skill people, Thomas, Locke. I can't believe that this offensive line is not getting more credit. I can't believe some of the plays that they are able to pull off. Here you'll see Davis 65 turn and still in the end. then Ballard, the right tackle, comes and kicks the outside linebacker out.
Thomas has the first down on 2nd and a yard. He's out to the 33, close to the 34.
Well, I tell you what, Joel, even you with those little pipe cleaner arms could make a few yards behind this group.
I've been in the weight room, buddy.
Spend some more time. No, Joel, they look good to me.
Pressure coming on Kelly, and it's complete to Andre Reed. What a catch! Talk about fingertip control. Inside the 40 to the 38.
It looks like Jim Kelly, who was a little off in the first half, and it's hard for people to believe that they're throwing all this skill part of the game, the throwing, the catching, the snap, the bobble, all that, it affects you for a little while. Kelly is back on track now. You saw him throw the ball perfectly there. Reed able to bring it in. Oh, that's beautiful. That's symphony. Put some string music to that one, guys.
1st and 10 to the Patriots 38. Thomas bouncing around. He'll lose yardage. The offensive line for the Bills, Wolford, Richard, Hull, Davis, and Ballard, one of the best in the NFL. We spent time yesterday, Dan, in particular with Ken Hull and Will Wolford. They told us about one of the times that you got in the backfield for a sack when the Bears matched up with the Buffalo Bills. We'll continue that story in just a second. Will Wolford was pretty emphatic about it along with Ken Hull.
I don't know about the validity of the story I'm going to hear, Joe.
2nd and 11, Kelly throws it away. Good idea. But back to that thought, Will Wolford came over to back up Ken Hull, and he said after you got the sack, all of a sudden you put a fist in the air, flex your muscle, pat your muscle, and say 4, 5 times. I said, wait a minute, 4 or 5 times? They go, yeah, bench pressing 400 pounds 5 times.
See, I'm not sure about this story now. I'm going to have to clarify this with these guys after the game. I don't know if I remember that. I don't know if that happened.
Well, we talked to a number of the offensive linemen. Wolford came over when Ken Hull was telling me the story, and Wolford said, yeah, it was you. You tried to put it on Steve McMichael, but it was Dan Hampton. Flags into the air on 3rd, and just about 12 back at the 40-yard line.
Well, one of those liars jumped off. No.
False start, 65, offense, prior to the snap, still 3rd down.
And it was John Davis who was over in the conversation, backing them up, I might add.
Well, I don't know if there's a better offensive line playing as a group today. They jumped off sides here, but the thing they do so well is certain guys can run block well and not pass protect so good, but these guys can do it all. Their offense is #1 in the league, and sure, they got the skill guys, but that offensive line is probably the main reason.
You get a polygraph test right after the game, buddy. On 3rd and 17, going for the bundle. Don Beebe down the middle, intercepted by Fred Marion. Intercepted by Marion, and the Patriots get it back. Well, you can see the way the wind has an effect on the ball.
That wind held that ball up. Normally, that ball may have been all the way to the back of the end zone, but it held up just enough where Marion could get under it. You're talking about a guy that has been a steady hand, someone that New England could count on for years and years. Marion starting his 101st football game today for the Patriots. You'll see, if our camera gets back, there we are. Saw him just play it much like Shilly Davis did in the series last week.
First turnover committed, and Fred Marion will have some fun with that one because he picked off his former teammate. They were college teammates at the University of Miami. I asked Jim Kelly yesterday, I said, have you ever had 3 straight passes picked off like the last game against the Cincinnati Bengals, the first 3 possessions? Kelly looked at me and goes, not even in midget football.
There's no midgets playing today.
It's 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Patriots are down by 10. Leonard Russell, not much available. Maybe gets a yard and a half. But under 6:20 left in the 3rd quarter. Houston still with a 3-point lead over Washington. Detroit on top of Chicago by a 4. San Francisco on a 90-plus yard pass play to John Taylor. Cincinnati looking for their first win of the year. They were down early, 14-3, but leading by 6 now. Jets by 7 on that pass to Burkett. And Minnesota finally on the board with a 1-point advantage over Tampa Bay.
Well, there's 5 minutes left with the wind here, so look for Millen to go ahead and try to get something in the air.
Millen is throwing, going for Fryer, and over it throws Irving Fryer with the coverage provided by Kirby Jackson.
Millen, who played so well in control of himself in the first half, now he's throwing the ball a a little bit like he's forcing it at times here. But that play right there, Millen had his mind made up on that play, having Irving Fryar run the streak. He never looked off. The corner was in great position from the get-go. He's got to go ahead and come back across. Look for somebody else. Look for a tight end. Somebody else. Don't go for it all in one bite. Take little bites if you have to.
Third down's been a problem for the Patriots all year long. It continues today. This is third and just about 9. Buying time. Millen in trouble and on his way down. Bennett got him first and Lodich cleaned up. That's one way to stay warm.
I couldn't do that when I was helping. Bennett, that's not something that you look for in linebackers. You've got to have a wild look in their eye, but not only that, you'll see Bennett cut at the line of scrimmage when the quarterback rolls away. He doesn't stay down. He gets up, and he arrives at the ball carrier, or the quarterback in this case, in a bad mood. That's what makes Cornelius Bennett one of the best in the business.
Sean McCarthy punting from the back line of his end zone to Al Edwards. He does have the wind at his back and gets it to turn over the head of Edwards. It takes a New England bounce. This could go forever. Unbelievable. Inside the 5 all the way down to the 1-foot line. Stopped just before it hit the goal line. Safe to say it's another career best for Sean McCarthy. But it won't go in the record books because it's wind dated. We'll call the Track Athletic Federation before it's over. 93 yards on the punt. The New England Patriots record book, a 93-yard punt, the longest in Patriots history. Previous best was back in '84 by Luke Prestridge, an 89-yarder. It'll do a lot for your average, 63.3. So go along with that 93-yarder for Sean McCarthy. So Buffalo.
I think New England has to make a big play to climb back in this thing, and it sounds trite, but Buffalo is in control. And this is the place. If you're New England, you've got to make something happen down here.
Thomas from out of the end zone across the 2 to the 3. So a couple of yards on the carry for Thurman Thomas. We'll be right back to Buffalo. Let's check in, though, with Bob Costas.
All right, Joel, after trailing 14-3 at home at one point, Boomer Esiason has brought the Bengals back. The pump fake and then the throw to Eddie Brown, wide open for the 34-yard touchdown in pursuit of their first win. The 0-8 Bengals lead the 4-4 Browns 20-14 in the third.
Thank you, Bob. And out on second and long. Another run for Thurman Thomas. Not much available up the middle. Garen Veras there. Stopping the running back near the 5-yard line.
Well, Freddie Smerlis is in there on the nose, number 76, and you got to think he'd like to make a big play down here. You'll see him right there in the center of the screen. Now, he gets scoop blocked by Davis, the right guard, but it's smart. He turns and flattens out, goes down the line of scrimmage, and hits Thomas, holding him to virtually no gain.
Big third down for the New England defense. And they make Buffalo punt out their own zone. Down to Thurman Thomas, and he got him in the backfield. Got him near the goal line. That was Vincent Brown.
What I'm talking about, Joel, is a lot of times in a situation like this, the defense feels like, hey, we've got to make something happen. There, he ran through and almost got a safety for New England. That's a big-time play. Here, Thomas takes it on the counter, and that's a very dangerous play. Brown ran through. I mean, he's just a step away from a 2-point safety, so you've got to have an awful lot of confidence in your line, but I don't care who you are. That's a tricky play down on your own goal line.
And now Chris Moore will be punting into that stiff breeze of about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Jerome Henderson has it sailed over his head. He'll retrieve it back near the 45. And he's in no man's land now. Big play for the special teams, and Chris Moore, as Steve Tasker was the first one down. 53 yards on that punt for Moore.
Well, Tasker is one of those guys that you count on to make a big play in the special teams. And that could have been a nice return for New England, even though it was a good kick. But you count on your coverage in a place, in a situation like that. You kind of feel like they have got to go down and make something happen, too. And Buffalo special teams are getting better and better all the time.
Well, Friday night marked the opening of the NBA season. Coming up next, join NBC for NBA Inside Stuff, a preview of '92. Entertaining look ahead of the brand new season. Can Michael and the Bulls repeat? Will the Trailblazers break through as the snow starts to break through in Buffalo? That's Inside Stuff preview coming up on NBC. First and 10 for the 42. Leonard Russell across the 45 to the 46 for 4. And we remind you this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Buffalo Bills and the NFL is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, the New England Patriots, and the Buffalo Bills. All rights reserved.
Joel, on that last play, number 50, Ray Bentley, came up, forced the offensive guard, kicked him off, and made the play. And Bentley's a guy that doesn't get an awful lot of publicity, but he fits in with the rest of those linebackers. He's terrific.
Leonard Russell. Good surge by the offensive line. Not much of a hole, but they did get about 3 on the carry. Out to the 48. They're short, though, by close to 4 yards for that first down. And they've got to take advantage of this field position. It's the Hurts 10-minute ticker. We knock them out, don't we, today? Washington, with a low Miller field goal, has tied it up at home against the Oilers. Detroit still on top by a 4, with San Francisco clinging to that 7-point advantage. Other scores around the NFL in week number 10. Talked about Sam Weiss of the Bengals looking for their first win. Jets still by 7, and Minnesota gets another touchdown.
Well, the 2-minute ticker's on Hugh Millen. He's only got less than 2 minutes to throw the ball if he's going to throw it.
3rd and 4. Millen with time, and out of the reach of Marv Cook is tied in. It would have been enough for the first down. Instead, the Patriots will have to punt it away.
Well, you also have to think they're punting away and punting the wind away also. And you know, that's disheartening if you're a New England fan, because Millen is one of those guys that plays within himself. He doesn't force the ball. He doesn't do a lot of erratic things, but it's going to be a lot tougher for him to get it done in the 4th quarter than it would have been here in the 3rd.
He did have time on that last sequence. The pocket held up well.
A lot of times you wait a little too long. You got to see it and throw it right now. You can't be second-guessing yourself. And it looks like maybe that's what he did.
Well, we know one thing. McCarthy can't kick a 93-yarder this time. Al Edwards waiting back. A run up. His own man almost got in his way, and he does fumble the ball. Do the Patriots get to it? Yes. New England's got the ball at the 15.
Well, we talked about New England having to make something big happen. Looks like the special teams has done it since the offense and defense hadn't been able to get it done.
Ivy Joe Hunter comes up with the ball on the special teams fumble recovery. It was the big tight end, number 87, Butch Roll, who probably obstructed him a bit.
Well, any way you want to slice it, that slices off a pretty good opportunity for Hugh Millen. He probably went to the sidelines thinking to himself, hey, I won't get another chance with the win. Now, boom, quick, all of a sudden, you get a turnover. Now you're down at the 16-yard line, 1st and go. But this is where they need to score. They have very few more chances. He's got to make this one work.
Play action. Millen has all day. And he's got Leonard Russell diving inside the 10, close to the 6-yard line. This is the first time today that New England has started a drive inside Buffalo territory. They have to capitalize in the final minute of the 3rd quarter.
Well, I think it's important not to lose your composure. You don't really have to throw the ball down here, and the wind's not going to affect it. So don't get in a big rush and try to think that you have to score in the 3rd quarter. Just go ahead and run your normal offense. I don't think that Hugh Millen realizes that, you know, the running game can get you in there against Buffalo. He can go with that.
2nd, the short 3. Hunter up the middle. Close to the goal line. He's down just inside the 1. It's 1st and goal for the Patriots. So they went with the first man through, and Ivy Joe Hunter almost got the first touchdown of the day for the Patriots.
Well, Ivy Joe is a big, strong guy, and he's the guy you'd want to give it to, but you can give it to either one of the tailbacks, whoever may be in there, Russell or Stevens. If New England has one strength besides their defense, it's their running game. And, you know, a lot of times you try to get fancy down here. Just do what you do best.
1st and goal inside the 1. Russell into the end zone. Touchdown, New England. He lost it after he broke the play into the end zone. I didn't see any flags. Yes, touchdown, New England. They were milling around. The defense, offense, standing around for just a second. But it is a touchdown for the Patriots. And now an extra point away from drawing within 3.
Just a kind of little wham trap inside. They bring him, the tight end in motion, let him lead on one of those interior linemen. Let the back slip up inside wherever the crack forms. He fumbled it, but he got it back, but the point was moot at that stage.
Starofsky has it deflected and gets over. I heard it hit a hand there.
Sure did.
And 2 weeks ago, he did have an extra point block. Last week, he had a field goal blocked by Dennis Smith of the Denver Broncos, and it appears that Starofsky may have come up a little bit lame on that one, may have pulled something on that extra point. Yes. It's a 3-point game at the end of 3. Just get a touchdown, but in the process, Starofsky looked like he may have pulled a hamstring. In fact, Sean McCarthy, the punter, is going to be handling the kickoff now. And it's a very short one taken by Don Beebe, just barely, and he really takes a hit. Another look back on that extra point. It's knocked Starofsky out of the game.
Well, you stand around on a cold day like this, and you kind of get a little tight. You see right there, he never gets his leg above his waist. Now, he goes right for it. Now, Ray Bentley got a hand on it, but probably never would have had a chance to if Starofsky could have went ahead and finished his swing, so to speak, with his leg. And that's not being behind by 3 points. That's the worst thing that could happen right now.
Kelly with a balloon in his way. Finds the tight end. That's Keith McKellar up to the 36-yard line. Obstructed by a balloon.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
Strategically placed by one of the New England fans at the game today. So it's a gain of 6. The no huddle continues. 2nd and 4. Thurman Thomas with the first down. Gordon got him in the secondary.
Well, Bozo's balloon didn't get in the way of Thurman Thomas there on that counter trade. When in doubt, make him shout with this play, because when you bring those 2 backside offensive linemen, you lead them on those linebackers, you really have to think this is developed into their bread and butter play.
The difference in the game right now is Kenneth Davis has taken over for Thurman Thomas. Good yardage. 5 on the carry to the midfield stripe, but the play of the game now. Dick McPherson took the field goal off the board. Wanted to try to get the touchdown. They failed to even get the field goal once again after Starofsky had hit a 39-yarder. I think every coach in the world would take the points off the board with a 1st and 10 down at the 15-yard line. But then Starofsky, after making the 39, misses a 35-yarder, and that is the difference right now. Kelly with plenty of time, and Andre Reed. Incredible. Waited for the D-back to fly right by him. What presence. Up to the 35 of New England for a first down. 15 yards on the reception by Andre Reed.
Once again, the key, Kelly has all the time in the world. I mean, he patted the ball twice before he unloaded to Reed on a little shallow out pattern. Now, if New England wants to make something happen, they're going to have to bring somebody else, because they're not getting the pressure with their front 3 or 4.
So you think they've got to take some chances?
They've got to.
1st and 10 at the 35. Kelly with the win. No flag. I thought I'd see a flag. Beebe had Lepet coming over his back. Did he arrive early?
Well, we can probably take a look at it, but I think the point's moved. Officials are walking back to the line. I don't think that they're going to get a call, but it had to be great coverage to stop that play. Kelly back, a 4-man rush. Offensive line's doing such a good job. Ken Hull, the 5th guy, doesn't even have to move out of his tracks practically. A strike. Lepet comes over the back, making a big play for the defense.
2nd and 10 from the 35. They set up the screen for Kenneth Davis. Blocking out in front. And a first down for Buffalo. Maurice Hurst finally knocking down the running back. 12 yards on the reception. Thurman Thomas has come back into the game for the Buffalo Bills, replacing Kenneth Davis.
But that was a great call by Kelly. His running game got a little yardage, and then he threw the ball and stretched the defense a little bit. Then all of a sudden you come with a screen. You catch him in between.
Thurman Thomas. Ridden down. Barr inside the 20 25 at the 23.
You know, Joel, I just got to make a comment about Thurman Thomas on that play. I was wondering for a number of games here, watching film and different things, who does this guy remind me of when he hits into the line of scrimmage? And it just, on that play right there, he looked just like Walter Payton when he attacked the line of scrimmage. Now, I'm not comparing him to Walter, but the way they attack that line is very similar.
Second and long. Kelly underthrows. Don Beebe took a shot after the play was over. So now it's going to bring up second and just about 9 as we check out the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. Chicago with a touchdown, taking the lead now over the Detroit Lions. Calm down over there, number 99. Cleveland regaining the advantage over the winless Bengals. And it's tied up. Green Bay with the touchdown on the Jets. 3rd and 9. Kelly with time. Overthrowing Andre Reed. Boy, really sailed with the wind at his back.
He really did. Kelly really strode into that. And a lot of times you always talk about quarterbacks. They get back, and when they see what they want to throw to, the target area, they'll take their weight and land it all on that front side, stride into it. And Kelly almost, in elongated motion, let the ball sail on him. He knows it wasn't the best throw he's made today, but he's a guy that'll make very few bad ones.
So now Scott Norwood will try a 42-yard field goal. He's already made a couple today.
I noticed him on the sideline stretching an awful lot here in the last 4 or 5 minutes, Joel.
I don't blame him after what happened to Swarovski. Well, they go up by 6. It looked like it was going to hook, and then all of a sudden it took a right turn, and it's good. So the Bills lead it by 6. The 3rd field goal of the afternoon for Scott Norwood. Welcome back once again. That is the only way to keep warm this afternoon. Bounce around a lot at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Wind chill has it down around 10 to 15 degrees. Game time temperature was 34, way below that now. And the wind at the back of the place kicker, Brad Delwiso, for UCLA Bruin, gets into it. It'll be taken by John Vaughn. No, he lets it sail over. Now he's got it inside the 10, and he's got problems. The Patriots will have it 1st and 10 at their own 11, down by 6. First, though, Bob Costas for an update.
All right, Joel, in Cincinnati, here's Kevin Mack with his 3rd touchdown run of the day for the Browns. The fumble happens after technically he had broken the plane. Browns recovered it anyway, so the touchdown stood. It briefly gave Cleveland a 21-20 lead, but Jim Breach has just nailed a 38-yarder at the start of the 4th quarter, and the winless Bengals lead by 2, 23-21.
Bob, a 6-point difference with the Bills on top of the Patriots. 1st and 10 for New England. Their own 11. Leonard Russell cutting it back and belted by Conlon.
Well, Bailey was the guy that led the charge. It's a kind of a tag team deal. Farrell, the would-be wrestler for Buffalo, would kind of like the way his teammates tag team Russell here.
Bailey low and Conlon high. And 2nd and long, 2nd and about 8 for New England. Irving Pryor's got the first down, loses it. Buffalo's got it. Back at the 25. Shane Conlon coming up with it.
It's going to be close to whether or not he had possession, because when Pryor caught the ball, he was spun. I don't know if they're going to give him possession, but either way, it's a big play. No, it was knocked out. It's possession, and now fumble. Should be Buffalo. The way that I see it, Joel. It's a good catch, but the helmet right on the ball there by the right corner, Odoms.
So Odoms forces it. Conlon comes up with it, and Buffalo's got it. 1st and 10 at the 24 of New England. They're up by 6. 2nd turnover committed by the Patriots. Keith McKellar close to another first down. Nudging close inside the 15-yard line. So with 10 minutes and 20 seconds left in the final quarter, it's starting to fall apart for the Patriots, who played a sound game thus far.
Well, I thought going in that New England to play with Buffalo, as long as they didn't turn the ball over and they were able to run it so well, the turnovers have really hurt them.
Thurman Thomas. Right at the first down marker, near the 14-yard line. They took the ball away, but long after the play was over. Now, do they need a measurement? Or will it be third and less than a yard? Yes, third and less than a yard for Buffalo. There's under 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Don't forget a doubleheader on NBC next Sunday. It'll all start with NFL Live at 12:30 Eastern. Buffalo, Green Bay early, Indianapolis and the New York Jets as well. And late, the second game, a big matchup in the AFC West, the Raiders and the Broncos. 3 tight ends in there. Thurman Thomas has the first down and has the touchdown.
Thomas right here behind the block of Garner. Great kick-out block on the middle linebacker. Right linebacker came through. Garner knocked him to the outside. Thomas makes a cut. Touchdown.
Norwood in for the extra point. Out of the hold of Frank Reich. And it's blocked. It is blocked by New England. So instead of a 13-point lead, it stays at a 12-point deficit as the Patriots just gave up only their second rushing touchdown the entire season, as opposed to last year when they gave up 29 touchdowns on the ground. But a good play for the special teams for the Patriots as they're down by a dozen, the Buffalo Bills. Another crowd of close to 80,000 on hand at Rich Stadium as the Bills are leading the Patriots by 12. Joel Myers, Dan Hampton, and Del Wiso sends it to the next county with the wind at his back. So the Patriots down by a dozen, get it first and 10 at their own 20-yard line, and now talk about going uphill.
They're going to have a snow shovel to get that ball out of the stands, but not only can a punter punt the ball for a record, that may be the record kickoff of all time, too.
Now, when I was talking to Scott Norwood yesterday, the other place kicker for the Buffalo Bills, I asked him about the wind and what it did distance-wise, and it's obviously a really big factor in the passing game as well. Norwood said when he is kicking the ball into the wind, it's at least 15 to 20-yard difference.
Well, I can believe that, and I think not only the kickers, but the quarterbacks could tell you how much the wind affects their passing, and that's something that Hugh Millen has to worry about right now. This is a situation where he's got about 10 minutes, 9 minutes, and they're down by 12. He's going to have to throw the ball, and it's against that wind.
First and 10 from the 20. Leonard Russell across the 25 to the 26. Less than 9 minutes remaining now. Carlton Bailey making the stop for the Bills. Productive day again, though, for Leonard Russell. Came in 8th best in the AFC at rushing the ball. He's got 92 yards so far. Thurman Thomas, the leader in the AFC in rushing, 3rd overall in the NFL, and Thompson, 20 yards from scrimmage. Thurman Thomas with 109 yards on 25 carries. And Russell get outside. Smith is over there, and it's good for only about a yard of the carry, bringing up 3rd and 4. We'll be right back for that. But first, Bob Costas with an update.
Joel at RFK, the Oilers and Redskins were tied at 6. Then Ernest Biner made this nice move, cuts back to avoid a tackler. Into the end zone he goes, 23 yards for the TD. The drive had been set up when Lorenzo White of the Oilers fumbled to give Washington possession with 9 minutes to play at RFK. Redskins 13, Oilers 6.
If they're to stay in the game and have a chance, they've got to come through on this 3rd and 4. Talking about the New England Patriots with Millen working out of the shotgun.
3-man rush.
And it's off the fingertips of John Stevens. Darryl Talley on the coverage, but Stevens was there and available.
Well, that was a good pass, and it was just the only thing lacking was a good catch. But I think more than anything else, Walt Corey has done a great job today of keeping his defensive players active and around the ball. There you'll see Hugh Millen looks at the field. He read it well, had his guy. It just was a little bit short on the catch. But, you know, traditionally Buffalo wins games on offense, but their offense has been a little bit lackluster today. And I think the defense has made a couple of big plays and turnovers, and that has basically got them in position to win.
McCarthy now punting into the wind with pressure coming. Hangs up a high spiral. Al Edwards calling for the fair catch. Fumbling it. New England gets it. The Patriots have it back. Coming up with the ball. It was Gannon.
Well,
that is the third turnover.
Twice today, New England special teams are able to capitalize on turnovers. You have to think that even though they've had a couple of bad moves with the special teams, with the field goal hitting the upright, the kicker pulling a hamstring, the special teams have made enough big plays to keep New England alive up to this point.
And over the last couple of weeks, Dan, the special teams have not been putting together stellar performances for the New England Patriots. Now they're got it first and 10 at the Bills' 40-yard line. The receiver falls down. That was McMurtry. Lodish applying the pressure on Millen.
Well, they were running a very intricate play pass type of offensive structure there, and Lodish was able to slip underneath a couple of blocks, get a little pressure, but Millen needs to go ahead and make his mind up on which couple of guys he needs to go to, because he's not going to have a lot of time now. The wind's against him. He's going to have to go to those short intermediate routes and throw the ball hard. Now, if he's to get it done, he's going to have to make his mind up and fire the ball hard against this wind and see if he can keep it going.
Second and 10 from the 40 with Cook in motion. Smith coming, and it's Coates over the middle, the tight end. He got away from Conlon and Talley. He's inside the 25 to the 22.
Well, once again, Coates able to go ahead and beat the linebacker at the line of scrimmage. You'll see him slip inside. Talley's got him one-on-one. Talley gets a jam. Coates slaps him off. He's big and strong. He's able to do that. Good pass by Millen. Those short intermediate routes, he needs to make his mind up and fire the ball quick. You can't hang the ball up in this wind, or you'll be setting yourself up for an interception. So, good decision by Hugh Millen.
They've got to have a touchdown. Field goal doesn't make any difference, especially when your place kicker's out already. And your punter is going to handle those place-kicking duties on extra points as well. First and 10 from the 22. Millen going for Cook, who's got 45 catches coming into the contest, and drops that one.
Well, normally Marv Cook is a guy you can count on in that situation. Dropped it just as Stevens did a few plays back.
Cannon 10-minute ticker. As you see the scores, Marv Cook, who is third in the NFL in receptions with 45 coming in, first among tight ends, has been shut out so far today. Ben Coates has been the man.
Well, a lot of times the defensive coordinator say, okay, we're going to stop this guy. Cook is the guy we're going to stop. Well, the coach, you know, another guy can get open because they're not concentrating on him as much.
Second and 10. Pocket holds up. Ivy Joe Hunter inside the 15 down to the 14. He's short of the first down by about a yard. Put down by Darryl Talley.
Well, that's 3 plays in a row. Millen has made up his mind early and went to the player that he felt was the best chance for him to get the ball and get a completion. Here, Hunter able to go ahead and just sneak out of the backfield. He sees him uncover underneath that zone. Good decision.
So now it's going to be third and about a yard.
I don't think you'll see the Beach Boys out here today, Joel. It's a little bit frosty for those fellows.
Getting dark once again at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Seems like we're only minutes away from a possible snowstorm. Third and a yard. 3 tight ends. Leonard Russell belted at the line. He doesn't get it. It was Shane Conlon.
Well, I don't think there's any question on what the decision to do here is, but you got to think that Buffalo's defensive guys are really responding today, and you'll see the defensive linemen get a good surge there, maybe a little bit high, but then all of a sudden those linebackers come in there, make something happen. Conlon over the top. He's made 2 or 3 big plays today. You know, you'd wonder, obviously, Bruce Smith is a big factor in Buffalo's defense being ranked so low, but where would they be if they didn't have that linebacking core?
This is the game for the Patriots. They're down by 12. 4th and a yard. Leonard Russell breaks the tackle, still on his feet. He's got the first down inside the 10. All the way inside the 5 to the 3. What an effort.
Incredible run by the rookie Leonard Russell. It's great to see a young guy like this make a big play in short yardage. And if there's anything you can point a finger at last week, the backs did not make anything happen at the goal line and in short yardage. Here, Conlon has him dead to right in the backfield. Then again, he beats a safety on a one-on-one situation in the tackle, which a lot of backs would have been down in the backfield. Great effort. It's a long trap. Now, that's a very scary play to run against a short yardage defense. There's a lot of penetration by the defensive front. New England was able to go ahead and make it happen because of great effort by Leonard Russell.
First and goal down to the 3-yard line. Hunter in front of Russell. Play action. Over his shooting.
A smart play by Hugh Miller. The man was not open. Unloaded.
Good idea to throw it over the head of Marvin Allen.
You see him shaking his head. It's like saying, hey, I knew I didn't have a chance there. But that's the thing you're looking for. He knows. And you like to see young guys develop, Joel. And, you know, I think he learned more last week than he could learn in 2 months of watching film. So it's good to see a guy like Hugh Miller learn so quickly and realize if you don't have it, get rid of the ball, fight again on second down.
Second and goal outside the 3. It's Leonard Russell up the middle. Touchdown, New England.
Well, they went with the same play, but Russell hit it up inside there. Those linebackers, knowing that they'd given up the big play last time on that same long trap, on that play, the linebackers forced outside. Russell able to get it up inside.
And believe it or not, the way Starofsky went off after that last extra point for the New England Patriots, we didn't think he'd return, but he's coming back out once again. When it looked like he suffered a hamstring injury, Jason Starofsky will try to bring New England back within 5.
There you see the long trap. Conlon forces it outside there, number 58 for Buffalo. Russell hits it up inside. That's good offensive structure.
Starofsky punches it through, and you can tell he is in pain.
Oh. Now, I don't know how smart the decision was to come back out and aggravate an injury like that, because, I mean, that high pull is not as severe as those low pulls down by your knees. So that may have just ended Starofsky his entire season with that one kick.
It's a 5-point game in Buffalo. They'll have to kick it away with the injury to Starofsky. It hangs up in the wind, picked up by Edwards back there with Beebe. And Edwards is across the 35 to the 36. Well, that time, Edwards hung on to the ball. These other 2 turnovers have led to the 2 touchdowns today for the New England Patriots.
And he gets a standing ovation from the crowd. Pass the popcorn.
And now, the defense is on the spot as we look at Jason Starofsky. He brought his team within 5, but he did miss that field goal, where it easily could be a 2-point game. The field goal he made was from 39. Then after they were stopped after the roughing the kicker call, he missed the 35-yard field goal. First and 10 for the Bills, their own 36. Thurman Thomas gets it to the 39 for 3. What a story Leonard Russell is becoming, though, for the New England Patriots and this entire group, the way they're performing against some of the best teams in the NFL. They beat the Houston Oilers. They play straight up with the Denver Broncos, and they're playing an effective game once again, for the most part, against the Buffalo Bills.
Well, I think the thing about their defense, and Joe Collier has done a terrific job, and I think that the only thing the defense hasn't done today, I mean, they've been able to slow down the #1 offense in all of football. But the thing they haven't been able to do, Joel, is come up with a big play, a big turnover. They need that.
4 wide receivers, nobody in the backfield. Kelly on 2nd and 7. Finds Andre Reed. Thrown down by Tim Gordon, but I believe he's got enough for the first down outside the 46, yes, to the 47. And the clock continues to roll against the New England Patriots. And this is the perfect time, of course, for that Xerox Sports Facts.
Well, I think so.
And the question, who has the longest punt return in Patriots team history? We'll have that answer after another snap. So it's 1st and 10 for the Bills, their own 47. Will the Patriots get the ball back? That is the question now. Can the defense get it back for the offense?
Well, for the most part, Buffalo has been very, very sound. Just one ball that hung up on Kelly is the only offensive turnover, so they've got to force something.
Thomas trying to turn the corner. Won't make it. Gordon got there. Brown was stringing it out. Vincent Brown.
Brown made the play on 1st down, makes it again on 2nd down, and you got to think that New England, much like Buffalo, in the fact that their defensive line doesn't have a dominant player, so they count on their linebackers to make all the big ones.
And they will have to run one more play before the 2-minute warning. Who has that longest punt return in Patriot team history? Mike Haynes. 89 yards against the Bills back in 76. Now do you throw the ball on 2nd and long. 2nd and just about a dozen. Thomas, the only one of the backfield movement by Smerlis, but was he drawn off by John Davis?
Looks like Freddie was getting started a little bit early there.
And Kelly came across, gave him a little tap on the helmet.
Encroachment, 76 defense prior to the snap, 1st down.
No, I don't think there's any movement at all, Joe. It looks like Freddie just got started a little quick like he did before, but when Kelly came over and talked to Smerlis there after he jumped off sides, you see Kelly talking to him. Kelly moved into Smerlis' locker after Freddie was put on plan B, and Kelly said in the meeting, he said, tell Fred, the only thing I got to say is we've got his locker fumigated, and we can actually have clothes in it that don't mold for a change.
2:09 left in the contest. 5-point Buffalo lead. And now they're looking at 2nd and 6. Thurman Thomas up the middle. And he's short of the 1st down by a yard, the 45 of New England. And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. So 2 minutes remain at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. And the Bills cling to a 5-point advantage. Coordinator Joe Collier and his group getting ready for the play of the game as far as they're concerned. 3rd and a little more than a yard. Can they get the ball back for the offense with 2 minutes remaining, down by 5?
Watch for something cheap and deep here. They've got everybody at the line. Yep.
Thomas,
there it is.
Does he get it? 2nd effort, he's got the 1st down. Agnew almost had him with the help of Jerome Henderson, but he got away.
I think you've seen a couple of tailbacks today earn their pay.
We have a chance to look at the Cannon 10-minute ticker. Atlanta has tied it up late on San Francisco. Chicago starts to pull away from Detroit. Green Bay surprisingly on top of the New York Jets by 3. 3 timeouts left. Don't forget, for the New England Patriots. They'll start using that, as we remind you tonight on NBC, The Adventures of Mark and Brian, followed by Erie, Indiana, Unsolved Mystery, and The Gambler Returns, The Luck of the Draws special movie. Thurman Thomas to the 40. On 1st and 10, he gets 2. And the Patriots stop the clock. So New England now has 2 timeouts left. And while they take a break, we'll do the same with 65 seconds remaining. Rich Stadium, Joel Myers, Dan Hampton, 1:05 seconds remaining. Kelly and the Bills looking at a 2nd and 8 from the 40-yard line of the Patriots. 2 timeouts left for New England, down by 5. Does Kelly even take a chance, or does it go into the breadbasket of number 34? It's Thomas, and he doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. He loses a yard. Another timeout used, stopping the clock with 59 seconds remaining. So 1 timeout left now for the Patriots, as we'll be right back to Rich Stadium. The point of the fumble by Irving Pryor was a 16-10 lead for the Buffalo Bills. They come up with the ball in the recovery by Conlon, and then promptly got a 14-yard touchdown run by Thurman Thomas. And that is proven to be the difference right now, as they went up by a score of 22-10 at that juncture. Big 3rd down. Can they hold? Thurman Thomas diving. Did he get it? No, he's short of the 1st down, and they will use their last timeout. He's short of the 1st down by about a yard and a half. Inside the 35 and the 34.
But I just think that you want to give yourself every chance to win, but it's going to be a kind of a bleak picture here when Hugh Miller comes in.
And our MVP for the Avis We Try Harder Award. The owners and employees of Avis salute our MVP, Thurman Thomas. The official car rental company, the NFL, Avis. Thurman Thomas with 126 yards today on 32 carries.
A lot of times you hear about a player like this, Joel, and the more you see him, the less you're impressed with him. But I think just the opposite about this guy. I heard he was just a terrific football player, all-round guy, and not only is he a great football player, but he's a smart guy. And talking with Marv Levy yesterday, he said, hey, I mean, this guy will make a change and say, well, on this play, he'll know instinctively what he should be doing on that play, and he'll make corrections quicker than the coaches will sometimes. So,
and now on 4th and about a yard and a half. Will they actually go with it? Will they try to get the Patriots offside? Yes, they will go for it with a yard and a half over the middle. Intercepted! Intercepted by Henderson. Jerome Henderson with a pick, and the Patriots are still alive.
Jerome Henderson.
Great play by Henderson. No, just anticipation, and that's what you want to see in cornerbacks, and especially young guys. Henderson feeling like Kelly's going to go to a quick possession type pass. Where else would he go? A tight end or a receiver over the middle? Now Henderson sees Andre Reed coming inside. He just basically reads Kelly's eyes. Kelly never looked anyone off, just tried to throw the ball into a spot on the field. Henderson able to...
And it looked like Reed never turned around and looked at the quarterback. 1st and 10 for the Patriots. They are out of timeouts. And a ball of their own 32. Millen going for Fryer. He can't get to the sideline. The clock continues to roll. They're out of timeout. 35 seconds left. They've got to throw into the ground right away. It's set finally, but Fryer couldn't get out of bounds. Will he go with the play? Yes, he will. Millen over the middle. It's McMurtry, and it's intercepted. Darryl Talley, and that'll do it.
Well, Talley was trailing the play. Cook was open. Millen overthrew him just a little bit, Joel. But you talk about a wild sequence of plays here. Here, Cook not able to... Oh! And then Talley, just hustling, gets the biggest play of the game thus far. And man, was he level.
So McMurtry almost came down with it. I'm almost surprised they didn't throw one into the ground with a first down. Try to compose themselves, settle it down a little bit.
I don't know, Joel. They still had 45 yards to go or 50 yards to go. And a lot of times, you just want to try to make a deep strike and see if you can get something quick and cheap. It's a wild one here. And
so one snap, and that'll do it. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Our coordinating producer of NBC's football, John Paracis. Today's game has been produced by Glenn Adamo, directed by John Gilmartin. Our associate director, Dick Ellis. And our production associate, that Florida Gator, Bill Herbstman.
Final score, Buffalo 22.
So again, Dick McPherson and his squad play an outstanding game against one of the best teams, if not the best team in the AFC, but come up short by 5 points, Dan.
Well, the thing is, I was wondering, you know, much like the coaching staff of New England, how would they respond? Well, they came out and played excellent on defense. They never made anything big happen on offense. That was their doom.
So the Bills beat them by 5. Stay tuned for the Head & Shoulders NFL postgame report coming up next.
Go.